Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Right center field, Vierling is back. He's still going, and he juggles it and tips it and got it to himself. Matt Vierling, a one-man show for out number one.
Swinging a high drive out to right center. Watch this one fly. That is way back there. It is gone. Durant just spanked it. His 10th home run of the year. That caught the facade out there. Red Sox lead at 5-0. Their second home run tonight. Right center field. It's a long way back, and it is gone. A home run. Kyle Manzardo with his second dinger of the night. That makes it 10-1 Guardians. And that ball is crushed deep to right field. Forget about it. Onto the footing of Miller-like landing. A two-run home run, and the Phillies lead it 4-0.
The worst actually ever. Here's a fly ball right field. Play for Torres. Sends it out of here. That's the Tigers' lead. Glaber makes it 3-2.
Good morning. Welcome into Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. What's up, DB?
How we doing?
We're doing all right.
Dang, AJ's here early.
Look at him go.
Hi, buddy. My man has blue ankle socks on. That is an absolute gem.
There we go.
That is classic. I don't know why that's the first thing I said. I should forever be indebted.
He's a big ankles guy.
So, I won't ask him now because that's horrible podcast, non-terrestrial communication over these headsets and microphones. But just randomly getting texts from me at 4 a.m. had to be an absolute gem. There's very few people that be on standby like that.
Yeah.
And the call was on accident. I'm sure your phone doesn't ring much at 4:45. But I appreciate Austin being in the bullpen ready to go because I was not.
Yeah, it was good looking out. How you feeling?
I got a high pain threshold, but we're being tested now.
What happened?
This thing though, Micah comes home and I'm kind of starting to move around because I haven't slept yet. And he goes, "Well, I didn't hear you last night, so at least you weren't talking to yourself." I was like, "Wow," because that happened the one other time. Yeah, so we got to get it figured out.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out. I'm not a huge let's go to the doctor guy.
Sure.
Yeah, but on a humbug, a tip, I got maybe a good Midwest GI specialist. I just got to try to get in.
Yeah.
I had to call him this morning.
I've been trying to get you to see an eye doctor for how long now?
Yeah, there's probably a better chance I'll see the GI guy.
Let's hope so.
Well, I can still use my reader.
Yeah.
Shane, were you happy? It's not the first time, but I feel like it's all our baseball teams won.
Yeah.
Not that doesn't happen a ton. The Dodgers have only won 2 in a row, and I don't know about the Dead Sox. I think that's their first win
in a row. Yeah, because they lost to the late game
when you weren't beating the Dodgers and Shane's Tigers, who seem to win a lot.
Well, 3 out of the last 10. That's not too bad, I guess.
Well, you've won 3 in a row, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Detroit might have gotten going.
They're fine.
Well, they play in a poop division.
Yeah, very bad.
So shout out to us for having our 3 baseball teams win.
Yeah, I mean, playing a competitive division, see what happens.
Yeah, although I was very sad to see Ronald Acuna Jr. go back to the IL.
Yeah, him and
I just hope he finds a way to stay healthy for some of his career because when that dude is healthy, he's pretty good.
I feel like
pretty good.
Probably twice a year when we're talking to BC, Byron Buxton goes on the IL.
Yeah.
And he went in again yesterday.
Yep.
With the ribs.
Yep.
My guy just cannot stay healthy.
But he has been better.
Yeah, fewer times this year.
You know what I mean? It's all about baby steps.
Well.
I mean, you could be the Dodgers rotation.
Nobody's the Dodgers rotation.
Wow. Well, if you're a Bengals fan, you're happy about Trey
Hendrickson coming back to the fold.
Yeah, are they going to get that deal done, though?
I don't know.
I mean, good for him to go to camp. What do you do? Like, do you just
walk around?
Say what's up?
Say what's up. Hello.
So you got Stewart and Henderson. Hendrickson is at Henderson. Hendrickson's at least in camp.
Yeah.
You got Stewart's deal done. That defense still sucks.
Yep.
But you did get a good defensive mind back after you pilfered him from Notre Dame to come back and help you out. I'm just not cheering for the Bengals in that division, though.
Which is weird because you like Joe Burrow.
Yeah, but I'm a Steelers guy, so
I understand that.
To heck with Jay Beasley.
You don't have to root for him against the Steelers. You
can
can root for him the rest of the time.
I need to get in the playoffs.
Well, playoffs.
I don't know if you've heard, but the Steelers aren't supposed to be very good this year, and this is the first year that Tomlin goes sub 500. Which neither one of those things are true.
That's what they tell me.
Neither one of those things are true.
They're not going to go under 500?
I mean, they will be a surprise team to the good.
Okay.
In my opinion. And this is obviously without the Homer Network.
Surprise, surprise.
That would be Play Sports and Husker Radio.
Just logging on to the Homer Network?
Yeah, I'm really not. Although, like another team that I think is going to be pretty good, and it's not because AJ's here. I do think the Panthers will be better than the experts think. And that does not have anything to do with my Carolina roots.
Better than the experts think, or actually good?
No, they'll be good. I mean,
are we talking playoff spot? What are we talking about here?
Come on, man.
I'm trying to gauge
top 7 in the NFC. Are you on crack?
I'm asking.
Well, I know you are. Are you asking me if you are or not? You come across as though as you are. Well, no, I'm not talking playoff spot. I mean, to get to 7 in the, we just went through this exercise.
You just mean not disastrous.
They're gonna be pretty good. They'll be formidable.
Okay. So you won't want to play them, but you're not worried about them making the playoffs.
Well, with 7 spots out of what, 16 teams?
Yeah. I mean, what you think between the West and the North?
Wouldn't surprise me if they finished ahead of the team that everybody thinks is going to be good, and that's Atlanta.
Oh, out on Atlanta? No.
I'm high on Carolina.
So you think out of the 7 spots, 5 of them come from the West and the North?
That would be San Francisco, the Rams, the Packers, the Vikings, and the Lions.
Or you could sub out one of
the
those
Bears
or you could sub out one of those for the Seahawks.
I'm inclined. No, not the Seahawks.
Not the Seahawks.
I'm inclined to
Cardinals.
say. I'm inclined to say yes.
Yeah.
I would say Niners, Rams. 3 from the North.
Yeah. And then
I don't think you could get 2 from the South. I'll start with Tampa, obviously.
So Philly is.
Oh, I forgot about the East.
So you got Philly
and
Washington
and the Commanders. That'll do her.
But you have to have at least 1 from the South. So Tampa, I assume.
Let me do this again.
Okay.
So I get 7. 6 plus a wild card.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to take 3 from the North.
I don't.
I'll take Commanders, Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take some combination of Vikings, Packers, Lions.
But just 2 of them.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll take Tampa.
And then 49ers, Rams.
49ers, Rams.
Yeah, the East makes this difficult because I do think there's a couple good teams.
The East, the East is hard. The East is hard. It wouldn't surprise me if the Commanders came back to earth.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
But they're so good offensively. Gosh, Daniels could come back to earth.
Yeah, I mean Stroud did.
Although he had set his own benchmark.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's gonna be tough.
NFC's crowded.
It's way good.
NFC's crowded.
It's way good.
Yeah.
But I did go back and look at some of the other odds because on Monday you kind of surprised me with your Jets take being last.
I think people agree with me.
They do. They do.
I think like they're.
They do. They on almost every divisional deal.
Yeah.
They are last by a good amount.
So I think
they're plus. They get a comma.
I'm lower on the Dolphins than most. Like I think it could be either of those teams that finish last, but I think it's way more likely that one of those finish last than that they finish second.
I just wish the Dolphins were physical. It's hard to say that in the NFL. It's easy to look at college and be like, oh, they're just not physical enough. But I can look at, like, the Dolphins aren't physical enough.
Well, and you're grading on a scale, right? I mean, obviously, there's a certain level of physicality no
that
matter
you need.
what.
No, I'm with you.
But if you're
I'm with
grading
you.
on a scale of like a Mike Vrabel coach team versus a why am I forgetting funny looking guy's name from Miami? McDaniel. I don't want to say Mike McDonald all the time for some reason.
Wait, what makes him funny looking?
He's a strange looking dude.
Oh man, I mean,
is he not? He's kind of a strange.
Too early to be judging, Judgy McJudge.
It's never too early for me to be judging. I wake up judging.
Too early.
That's what I do.
Man, my man Caden, how could they be worse? They were, yeah, I get it. They were 5-12, but they weren't an easy 5-12. What do you mean? How could they be worse? It'd be pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, I think
they could have been Shane's Raiders. They were awful.
I think the Dolphins and Jets are clearly the two. Speaking of his Raiders.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so you've heard the reports of why Christian Wilkins got cut?
Yeah, but I think that was in addition to.
Okay, because you're not cutting Christian Wilkins for kissing somebody on the head.
And he's done that before.
I'm just saying. Who else on that team is good enough that their complaint would get Christian Wilkins cut?
All the cut-ups now and stuff like that's just kind of his thing.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him go digging in booty holes against Ohio State.
Okay.
I mean, how else would you describe that clip? How else would you describe that clip? I don't know what else to call it.
So it was funny, like when they had him mic'd up. Maybe it's not fun. Maybe his act is just weren't then.
Maybe people are just over it.
Yeah,
maybe he's pretty good at football though.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, how annoying do you have?
But you know what's
be?
interesting though, because and I said this last week when this first surfaced. Remember, I told you how surprised we were when he was the casualty in Miami.
Yeah,
I was like, God, he's coming off a good year.
Yeah.
Maybe, those are those things where there's always something we don't know.
Yeah. That you're just like, maybe just nobody wants to be around him.
Yeah.
I just have a hard time believing a kiss on the head was really what did it.
Yeah. Kind of like with Carter Soroki, it's probably more than just.
He's pretty good at getting paid.
Yeah. What'd you guys clear? 35 mil?
I thought it was upper.
I think he gets that wiped off the book. I think the Raiders get that wiped off the book.
Yeah, he said they voided it but that's from the foot thing, not from this.
No, I know.
So they voided the 35 guarantee based on the Jones fracture surgery. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about the exploring and all that other stuff. I don't know why you just didn't fast forward through the. I mean.
Okay, so when the quote comes out, like before the report of the kiss on the head, which I don't.
So I liked it. The write up day before yesterday. You were like for weird stuff.
So that's a quote from a teammate.
I know.
So
I'm well aware.
That's why
But you put it on the rundown in that verbiage.
Yeah, because it's such a strange quote from a teammate. Before the kiss on the head thing got put out there, the only quote was from a teammate that says he was released for weird, like a very weird incident.
Yeah.
That's how it was written out. It was weird, ellipsis, like a very weird. Like kissing somebody on the head does not qualify for that to me. To just be,
it's got to. I mean,
to just be have your flabbers so gasted that all you can come up with is
my flabbers so gasted.
It's like the only thing you come up with, like a truly weird incident.
I don't even remember the last time I said flabbergasted.
Back in the day.
I don't know.
So
I just don't buy it.
I think I can say this. Like I've kissed my players on the head before.
Yeah.
Is that?
I would kiss you on the head right now, and I don't think either of us would think it was that weird. Like maybe during the show it'd be strange.
Time out. Okay, he doesn't have a mic, so we can't get to him. What was that little? You act like you got poked by the Pillsbury Dope guy. Like what was that for? Say it.
I mean, if you stood
think
up,
that's weird.
If right now you stood up and just kissed Damon on the head, I would think that was weird.
I think 99.9% of the people would. I don't know why he said that so casually, unless you said to me, I wouldn't think that was weird.
That's what I mean.
Everybody else would.
No, for sure. But I mean, like, if you're like, it's not like fireable though.
Well, I don't know. You talked to Bill and Chris lately?
I mean, would you think it was that weird?
Listen, I wanted to say something Monday, and I knew I would have been pushing.
Really?
Yeah. And been built. Like they're pretty cool, but I was like,
We've said some
Now,
stuff.
now
yeah,
maybe,
this would- hey, that's how you know it was bad.
now maybe,
'Cause
if,
I was going to get into genders.
now maybe if you were going through it for whatever reason, and it just felt like you just needed a little bit of emotional help there, maybe I could see that.
Like my players have been sitting on the bench, like, and they're like it's gross. Like it's not anything that I would do if I gave it thought.
Yeah.
But like I can remember 3 distinctly.
Mhm.
Quinn Warren was warming up for state. We thought we were going to get him. Didn't get a play. He went and sat down. He tried to warm up. He was sitting on the bench. I walked over. I kissed him right on top of his head. I rubbed his hair, and I said, "Hey, man, like, we'll figure it out. Love you."
Yeah.
I've done it to Christian Jones,
Mhm.
and I know I did it to Calvin Strong.
Yeah.
I did it to Calvin Strong, like, on the forehead. So I don't know if I think that's weird. Now, the Christian Wilkins clips, those guys are playing on the other team, too.
Yes. Yeah.
But here's the thing.
When he's like digging for gold, like
Knock it
That's
off.
not-
I see. That's kind of one of. I'm just gonna get this out here because that's the second time you referenced digging. I can put up with a ton, like a ton.
yeah.
Like I'm not, not gonna be a prude. But the whole,
I don't know what else to call it. I don't know how else to describe that situation.
we like digging in the booty. Like we do. Yeah. Cool. I mean, to each his own, but not.
He's doing weird stuff to other people on.
But
other
here's
teams.
the thing.
Yeah.
So it was his
Teammate.
other team that he did that to when he was a Dolphin.
Yeah.
Remember, came, put his arm around him, kissed him on the head.
There's-
You'd think those guys would have more of a
Like-
problem with it than his own teammate. But his own teammate wasn't rocking with it this time.
The weirdest reaction I've seen on the clip ups, not the weirdest, but the most aggressive reaction
Is
I've
that a
seen.
word?
What?
Is weirdest the thing?
I think so.
Does the one syllable word get the EST?
I mean, biggest does. Big.
Because I'm
biggest.
the biggest, the largest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fastest.
I'll rock with that.
Yeah. I think weirdest
Weirdest.
is a word.
I don't hear it a ton. Go ahead. Carry on,
the
my
most
wayward son.
the most aggressive reaction to his weird activities is the Josh Allen one where he's like reaching under him and I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
I won't attempt to describe, but Josh Allen reacted strongly to that.
Yeah.
But he's about the only one.
No, I've been tugged at but never dug at.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, there's infamous stories about piles, right?
Oh yeah.
And so I don't know if people just kind of chalk that up to, hey, that's just a thing that people do sometimes.
That's a pile.
Oof.
It's Missouri.
Well, nobody likes Missouri.
Yeah, he was a good safety too. He ran his mouth. He got me good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I made a noise like I did something.
Yeah.
And I just instinctively I was like, I cannot be on the bottom of this pile whining. I was like, grab my teeth. I was like, it hurts me. My finger. I was like,
My fingers hurt.
I was like, hey man, can you fix that?
Pop that thing right back in.
I don't know. That's a lot of. It's got to be. I don't even know how we got on Christian Wilkins this morning, but it's a culmination of things. And I mean, the 35 mil had to be pretty.
So,
I mean, I would be motivated to wipe 35 off the books.
yeah.
Let's call it old Liz Franchi. What?
Oh, what?
Liz Frank. the surgery.
I thought it was the Jones. I think it's the Jones fracture in his.
Is it?
I don't think it's a Liz.
I
Frank.
thought it was Liz. Is it Mike?
Mike Jones. Yeah. Really more of an Eddie Jones guy myself.
Temple?
Lakers.
He started at Temple.
Eddie Jones.
He was okay.
Well, and Kobe started at Lower Merion. I don't think of Lower Merion when I go Kobe.
okay.
You want me to go Hornets, Eddie Jones?
So you just gave me. I love when you try to do this to me, but you can't do it. Austin, take notes. Ready? Kobe Bryant is popularly known as a Laker.
Yeah.
Eddie Jones, you could go a couple of different ways.
Yeah.
A couple of different teams. I started with the origin, which was Temple.
I wouldn't have gone Temple. If you'd hit me with Hornets, Eddie Jones, I'd have understood.
I almost said UMass. I don't know why I get them confused.
Colors. The colors are very similar.
Nope. You know what it is? It's Lou Rowe.
Oh, okay.
He was giving me Lou Rowe vibes. Do you remember Lou Rowe?
I don't.
Yeah, Lou Rowe, Padilla, Marcus Camby.
I remember Camby.
Yeah, he had a good
Like that first Calipari team.
Travieso. Yeah, he had some fellas.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was Ryan Held's team. He liked UMass.
That's
playing with them on Coach K.
Yeah, you got similar color scheme, and they're both A10, right?
Yeah.
So, or back in the day, A10, whatever that was.
Hey, Connor's trying to ask leading questions. I don't know. Like, I get it. That's the rumor. You're not getting me to speak on it, Connor. But
you asked me the same question last year, Eric.
No, that's not what I'm trying to say, Lance. It's not what I'm trying to say. What's wrong with this dude? He at least cares about me, though.
Lance does?
Yeah. Checked on me last night.
He's like, hey, what's up?
No, that's not what he said. It's not what he said.
Oh, what'd he say?
It's between Lance and I.
Okay.
It's just a friend looking out for a friend.
Well, that's nice of him.
Which is weird because he's considerably younger than me, too, but he still looks out.
Good on you, Lance.
He's got an old soul. I'm thinking he's going to get picked up, though.
I would imagine.
Oh yeah.
If he's healthy. I don't know
I don't know if they'll wait and see what happens with the remainders of training camps, because apparently people are dropping like flies. Like, don't be in training camp in Dallas.
Yeah.
So like maybe they'll wait and see what shakes out with
some of
the numbers, but yeah. Christian Wilkins will be gainfully employed by the middle of August.
Assuming he's healthy, yeah. I don't know if the foot thing was just they didn't like how he approached it, or if it's actually a problem.
I love Connor's funny.
Just making sure.
All right, Connor.
Headley says we'll be interesting to see which team doesn't kiss and tell.
Oh Lord. I wonder who writes his material. You think he writes his own material?
I think so. Yeah,
probably. He types too fast.
Yeah, I don't think he's using ChatGPT or anything on that.
I'm out on ChatGPT.
Yeah, what'd they do?
I just don't like it.
Yeah,
I don't, and it's too hard to make seem like it's you.
Oh yeah,
you know,
like it doesn't personalize it very well.
Yeah,
you gotta be careful there.
Although I probably talk so much, I'm sure there's pretty good versions of what I would say.
We should get a DB AI bot.
Can you make money like doing it?
I don't know.
I'd sell it. They gave me enough.
Your name, image, and likeness to ChatGPT.
God, I'd have to get paid though.
Yeah. Make an AI DB.
Wouldn't that be something?
Just get you up here with a hologram.
That'd be sweet. I wouldn't have been stressing yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have been like, oh man, just flip the switch.
Just be like, Ravi, just fire up the hologram today.
I thought of you too, Shane, while I was watching bad television. There's a movie that I stumbled on about, I don't know, 7:10 yesterday morning, called The Lone Star Shark. I was looking for shark movies.
Nice.
No.
Different kind of shark, I think.
Why the later you get in filmmaking years does the CG, is it CGI, Shane?
CGI, yes.
Why does it get worse? I mean, this shark looked worse than Sharknado in the water. I'm like, man, click. But what was I gonna get with Lone Star Shark 2? Like, who thought to make a second one of those? Good.
Is it a Texas
during
shark?
Break, if we ever take one, yes.
Who thought to make a first one?
Yeah, Lone Star Shark 2. It's not good.
Oh, there's a third one.
Don't matter to me.
Yeah, I was like, so what did I end up settling on?
I don't know, but come on, man. What are we doing here?
I wanted a shark movie. I don't know what's wrong with that. I was trying to get motivated. I was trying to like psych myself up.
Your go-to when you need to get motivated is shark movies?
More predation.
That makes sense.
I was looking for predators. I mean, that was the theme. And an unpopular opinion with yourself is I didn't go to murders. I went to hunting.
I'm stunned.
And you made it through Shark Week all the way?
Yeah, it was fine. They've got a lot of new, and it wasn't as gimmicky this year. I think they're getting it back to actual marine biology and
like Phelps wouldn't swim with sharks or anything.
Yeah, like that's dumb. But the Van Gelder, not Van Gelder. What's Paul's first name? He's the Navy bomb expert that lost his hand and leg to a bull shark. And he's just back diving, chilling, putting his glove on with the hook. And I was like, I don't know, would I be more
like T.I. with the hook gonna be?
If I could kick a shark in the face with a
cheating.
Steve Austin leg and a Steve Austin arm, would I be more courageous or would I be traumatized that because of them I'm wearing metal anyway?
I'm gonna be honest. If I've got some artificial appendages because of a shark, I'm probably not going back.
And he's like bigger and stronger now. No, less. We're boys. Wash your mouth out less and wash your hands typing that. Have I ever eaten shark? I will never, ever, ever consume shark. One of the singular greatest things on this planet I am not digesting. Although if I believed in reincarnation, it had something to do with me coming back as like a great white, a different white, I would maybe eat shark. But I will never eat a shark.
That's what happened to Austin.
What happened?
Came back as a great white.
Austin, you ate shark before? Have you eaten shark?
I have.
Well, you suck too.
I mean, listen, it was a win in Rome situation.
Well, you gotta understand though.
I was down in Trinidad. We were at the beach.
Oh, how were the Tobagoans?
Or
is it Trinidadians?
Trinidadians, yeah.
Well, why are you leaving out Tobago?
Tobago just gets left out in the cold.
Okay. I'm going to tell you, I don't know enough about the culture to argue. It sounds like you're making that up.
But the typical, if you're just from Trinidad and Tobago, it's Trinidadians. There is a difference between Trinidadians and Tobagans, but the general term is Trinidadians.
Okay. Well, I'll stay general.
Yeah. No, it was we were at the beach and like they had these little
shacks. Was it just fins?
No, it's like the shark meat.
Yeah, that's those people. Yeah.
They but they got the shacks.
Maybe we should hunt them.
Not like O'Neill's, but you got the little food shacks like on the beach, and that's where you eat, and that's what they were serving.
We should hunt them.
You got to eat. You should hunt what?
The Trinidadians.
Well, I mean that seems.
I don't want to just hunt sharks for the. I mean,
that seems problematic. Just hunting people. It's kind of a weird place for you to jump.
That bugs me. I've watched too many documentaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just throw the sharks back and take the fin. Some people eat the shark meat, but it's like.
Would you rather they eat the shark meat or cut their fins off and throw them back?
I'd rather they not hunt the sharks.
That's not the options I gave you.
Okay, what's the choices? I don't even know why I'm entertaining this because it's going to piss me off.
They cut the fins off and throw them back, which seems
they're going to die.
Detrimental to the shark, or they actually use it and eat the shark meat.
I suppose I don't want you wasting carcass.
Right, yeah. You don't want it to just throw back and be helpless out there.
How about a new dietary plan?
I don't know, man. It's like what do you want them to do on like a beach economy?
Oh, find some turtles.
You want them to eat a turtle? I'm not sure the meat on a turtle goes as far. Like bang for your buck wise in terms of fishing.
I saw a guy win a competition in Texas with turtle meat.
Yeah?
Well.
Was he trying to feed like 10,000 people at a beach?
However many people bought tickets at the barbecue.
You know how many turtles you have to catch for that?
Haven't you seen some of those big snappers?
I understand that. You seen some of them big sharks?
Wow.
I'm just saying, it's like eating a chicken versus eating a deer. Like there's a lot more meat on the bone there.
Fair. Oh, I watched another bad movie, Shane. Speaking of eating deer.
What do you got?
I'm stunned.
It was horrible. I was so pissed. And you know what? I went back to it, which is upsetting. It's called The Wilding.
The Wilding?
It sounds like a huge waste of time.
Yep. Is that McClanahan? Who was that? B?
That's Betty.
No, it's Betty, yeah.
No, one of them people.
One of them what?
Let me practice getting back in the saddle. Yeah, it's called The Wilding. It was not good. Not good. Liv Tyler, she was a sheriff, took in this girl who basically was a creature and did not know it.
Mm-hmm.
She was kind of taken from the wild, and then turns out she had a baby with Liv Tyler's brother that she lived with, and
She can
released herself back into the wild. I was so pissed.
Her movies can be hit and miss.
It wasn't even a Liv Tyler thing. It was, I thought the premise was going to be cool with this weird little girl that had these mannerisms, but turns out she was a werewolf, and it was dumb.
Oh, out on werewolves. Wow. So here for sharks.
I just couldn't believe I gave myself 61 minutes for that final 30. I was not happy.
I mean,
what I think was going to happen?
Yeah.
I can't stand people like you. I don't know, Ravi. I don't know.
I'm just.
Sometimes you've never thought a movie was good and then been thrown a loop by the ending?
Here's my problem,
Oh,
DB.
boy. I love these are called Ravi-isms 101 here. It's a lecture on how I can be different.
No, you can do whatever you want, but I don't think you should be surprised by the results when you kind of search out bad movies.
I don't, really.
Okay, well, you land on them a lot. It seems like you're searching for something very specific that lends itself to bad movies.
Good point, Tim.
What?
He said, I'm the only person in the world that cares more about sharks than turtles.
You also
Turtles are all, I think, significantly more endangered.
You actively also called for, like, hey, why don't we kill the people instead of the sharks?
Is that how that sounded?
When you said, like, well, yeah, why don't we hunt the Trinidadians? How else is it going to sound?
That probably needed context.
What context would make that
Well, it's
better?
just not cool to be hunted, was my point. I didn't mean turn around and hunt the people.
Despite saying you should turn around and hunt the people.
I know how that sounded.
Wasn't great. I mean, it wasn't ideal.
I mean, shout out to Trinidad and Tobago.
They didn't do anything to you, man. It's nice people.
I felt like
they kind of look like me.
Got to misrepresent it. Yeah, did you feel at home?
I did, actually. A lot of people thought I was from there.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, nah.
Oh, you got some miles to go, too.
I know.
That's not that close.
No, there's a lot of people that look like me down there. I don't know if there was like a little Indian settlement there at some point, but like there's some crossover.
Why?
What do you think I mean when they look like me?
Why?
So there was a lot of
what do you
weightlifters
think
down
the
there?
settlement was thinking if they would have picked that spot?
They're probably like, okay.
And not like they knew like Rand McNally at the time, but still.
I'm guessing they hit land and were like, thank God we're not going to die.
So just any land will do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, famously, a lot of these explorers landed places that they didn't think they were.
There were some tremendous cartographers back then.
After the first ones, you're just like, we're just out here, right?
Made Columbus famous. It worked for him.
No, you're exactly right.
Yeah,
I know, Sat. By the way,
He would have failed 8th grade geometry or geology.
How do you think
geography?
I felt about all the tight end talk the last 2 weeks?
Stop.
Like, really, guys?
I know.
Really?
Oh, you want to get into Mac Markway?
We're just talking about tight ends now.
I
tried to get you guys on the tight end bandwagon for 4 months.
Yeah.
I see articles, I see blurbs, I see write-ups. I'm like,
well, yeah, because Rule said it now.
Go Big Red.
You got him to say it at Big Ten Media Days.
I didn't get him to say anything.
It looks like Augusta out there.
Why was he talking like that?
I appreciate you you extracting the
Looks
D-line
like Augusta.
comment out of there from him, too.
It looks like Augusta out there.
He must have been excited talking about that story because his voice got a little high.
It looks like Augusta
out
there.
Hey, I'm gonna say this.
That's how Sauter talks about, sounds when he talks about his lawn.
I'm gonna keep it pushing.
Looks like Augusta out there.
Make no mistake.
Yeah.
About whose football team and whose program that is.
Yeah. Old DBs.
Make no mistake. When he wants to stop practice, he'll stop practice. When he wants to say something to the staff, he'll say something to the staff.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll say it however the heck he pleases. Make no mistake. That is his football team.
This is the team I've been waiting for.
Don't kid yourself. I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay, Daniel, where did the Chinese get the maps? That's my point. At some point, nobody had a map.
Wait, what did he say?
He goes, they were using rudimentary maps by the Chinese made decades before. That's why they suddenly were like, oh, maybe if I go south, I can get around the continent. It wasn't just a whim. At some point, there wasn't a map, Daniel.
Why do you let him do this to you? Do you not know him? He's nuts.
You do realize that before the rudimentary maps, there weren't maps.
It's a big word this morning.
Rudimentary.
We've used cartographers, rudimentary. We've used
rudimentary, my dear Watson. You know, the little Sherlock Holmes guy.
I thought he said elementary.
Oh, it is elementary. You're right.
Dummy.
All right, wildling.
Oh. The premise of the movie looked good. I didn't think Liv Tyler and that crew cast would do some knockoffs.
Can I help you?
Yeah, sure.
Do you care about spoilers? Like, will you like a movie if you know how it ends?
No, I have read ahead before. It's fine.
So
I'm trying to figure out Sandman. I've read every explanation on that series maybe that's put out there.
So, like, if you're about to watch a movie and you're like, this could be bad, just read the Wikipedia real quick.
It depends on how complicated it is. The Wildling, I could figure it out. I'm like, okay, I get the general premise. Like the Sandman, which is a series, has a lot of characters.
Right. But I'm not talking about the premise. I'm talking about if you don't want to waste 90 minutes, you find out if the ending sucks by reading the Wikipedia.
Dude, I'm bedridden. Where am I going?
Watch a different movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
You've got the entire internet at your disposal, and you landed on Wildings.
I thought it looked pretty good.
I don't like how you say that. What? I know why I didn't click out and go to the Fire Stick. It just seemed easier to stay where I was at and find something. So I tried.
Are you happy with that decision?
No, did not pan out.
Maybe next time we just switch out to the Fire Stick.
Yeah, that's why you go through experiences. You learn for the next time.
I know, but it seems like it's taking you a long time to learn on the movies.
I've watched
then you go,
handful of bad movies.
Then you go through the whole day going, man, I probably should have just watched that movie.
Austin, how many times a week does DB talk about a bad movie he watched?
Maybe once. I've only seen like 4.
I mean, that's more than most people.
The Russian Rambo movie, Wilding. Joe Dirt doesn't count.
No, Joe Dirt's a good movie. What was the Sharknado 12?
Lone Shark.
Oh, Lone Shark. I thought when you said Lone Shark 2, I thought it was about like a lone shark, not
like
somebody with money.
Yeah.
Not like a shark by himself or herself, I suppose.
Yeah. Probably a female. They're bigger normally.
There you go. Just ask. Never mind.
I'm over it.
You said Lone Star. I was going to make a Charles Barkley San Antonio joke there, but
no, I thought you were going to talk about the group.
Lone Star?
Don't they sing Amazing?
Amazed, I think. I think it's Amazed.
It's the wedding song everybody plays, right?
Right? I think it's Amazed.
Every time my heart beats, everything around me. There is more than I can take.
I mean, that's a dead
Isn't
ringer.
that Lone Star?
Yeah, it is. It's Amazed.
Let's go.
Past tense. It's not the adverb.
I thought you'd be happy to see me.
I am happy to see you.
Awful snarky.
No, I had so much sarcasm built up. It's just
take it out on Daniel. He's the one being.
I did take it out on Daniel. I yelled at him.
I sure hope so.
I'm happy I knew that song.
Like, where did the Chinese maps come from, Daniel?
Oh boy.
Damn. They also had maps of like the Northwest Passage, which didn't exist. They were just guessing.
Is he going to derail the show?
I'm just saying.
Before we take this break, can you set up the show?
Yeah, we're gonna have guests today. Brian Christopherson, Husker247, coming up at 8:00.
Dude's in rare form, boy, I tell you.
Andy Kendeigh, 8:30 from KETV. We got Mitch Sherman at 9, and then we bring up the wagon with Matt DeMarinis at 9:45.
Oh man, how do I miss Matty D?
Do we want to reschedule that so you can talk to him?
Yeah, I want Matty D for me.
Hey, Shano, can you push him to tomorrow?
No offense, Austin. When I wanted to talk to Matty.
Yeah, it was you want to talk about something specific. So
well, no, general, but I was going to ask him about something specific because I just felt like it was pretty cool for a guy that is supposed to just kind of be this Craytonian honk that he always finds these nice little gems with Coach Rule. Now, I do let him off the hook that it's oft compared to Mac or Raz or
Return of the Mac
or Kirsten or, Flan.
Oh, we love Flan.
But,
But,
you know, But it's okay. I like the frame of reference because those are successful programs with good leadership.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's interesting because of all the things that he said, that's not what I thought the glue was going to be. But it did take off.
Yeah.
It did take off.
Yeah, so Shane, let's see if we can get Maddie tomorrow.
And tell him it's not personal. I just want to.
It's business.
Got to keep watering the bamboo.
He's got the coolest voice ever. You talk about no nonsense.
Well, actually, bamboo grows very fast.
That guy right there.
Raola.
Yeah, listen to his voice.
Big Donnie.
Yeah,
Got to keep watering the bamboo.
I'm almost positive he would not want me to call him Donnie, but I cannot stop.
I think you should ask what he prefers to go by.
I would if I ever talked to him. I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Because you know me, I'm probably his biggest fan in the state.
Yeah, early.
I've been on him early.
Early.
Yeah.
Early. I'll give it to you.
So
to be honest, I
would love to talk. I would love to talk to Coach Raiola.
Yeah. This is the guy you should want to talk to.
Who?
Dvorak.
I know. That's your guy, though. I got to find.
I share.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
I like Addison, too. I just don't know him as well.
I just didn't want you to think I was a copycat.
They got some. These two guys?
I think I'm a trenches guy now. I'm Braden and Raiola.
Oh, and you'd like Phil Simpson.
Yeah.
Yeah. The coolest thing ever about Phil Simpson, and I mean this with 100% seriousness, Phil Simpson could tell me I was the worst person in America. Terrible dresser, bad character, whatever. And I would probably be motivated by it, by the way he said it.
Instead of discouraged.
Yeah.
That's a good quality in a coach.
He has a gift.
Yeah.
Yes, he is highly demanding, but he's so relational. It's like the kids just could be like, man, Ravi, all that gray in your beard, man, do something with that.
No, I'm letting it go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you'd be like, you can only see about 6-7 hairs. Maybe I should change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Simpson's a stud. He is an absolute stud.
Just so you know, if I ever put color in my hair or beard, you feel free to slap me.
Yeah, my barber and I argue about that.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Me neither.
Also, just for what it's worth, and you have no reason to know or care about this information, Indian hair doesn't dye well. It doesn't. There's some issues.
Gotta keep watering the bamboo.
Is there something in your deoxynucleic acid that
I think it's
does
just
not take well to color?
I think there's like the particular dyes on the market are not made for that type of hair, and it's a struggle. I've seen people do it. It looks bad. Like, it looks real bad.
Gosh, I got a question.
Go for it. Well, what do we got?
I kind of want to write it down.
If it's not horrible, I'll say it out loud.
No.
Okay.
I don't want you to say that.
Great question.
Does it work the same with skin too?
I don't know. Are you okay? Oh.
Okay.
It sounded like you hit something.
Is he all right?
No, no, it sounded like you hit the table. I wasn't judging. I was just asking.
You seem very hurt right now.
Oh. That's a different thing.
Okay.
Yeah. No, is
it dye?
For whatever. No, it's like most of them are like you're talking about like the bindies. That's what they're called.
Thank you.
A lot of them are stickers.
They are?
Yeah, a lot of them are stickers. But if you do it traditionally, it's like a substance. It doesn't actually dye the skin. It's like on top of the skin. Think of like Ash on Ash Wednesday. It's more of that type of thing. It's not like a makeup situation.
Just asking.
I don't know what it is, but the dye in the hair just doesn't. It gets orange. Like, it gets orangey. You don't want that.
You do it too much.
I'm just saying. I'm going to let the gray go. That was the point.
Oh, shoot.
That's TB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We'll be back. More Hurrdat Sports Live coming up next.
Give me that cheddar, we getting Rico. Big money rolls like burritos. Give me that hot sauce, no pico. Give me that.
Yeah, I'm very, very grateful that I believe it's Judge Wilkins that they grandfathered in the players. I mean, I don't know how I could have told some of these guys like, hey, you're not on the team. I mean, as I've told you guys, we had guys who said, hey, no matter what, I'm going to be here, and so they pay the same price. When you think about it, I mean, they're paying to go to school to go out there and do all that stuff. So I'm glad they're out there, and a lot of them are good players, and they're developing into good players. So. And then it allows us to have, a lot of competition, allows us to have 3 groups, sometimes maybe 4 groups. We'll have some injuries as we go. There'll be attrition. And have guys that can step in and give reps, I think is really important. So even in the NFL, they have smaller, they have a 90-man roster, but you can still practice against other teams. You still have preseason games, right? So to get to 105, I've done it before at Baylor, but just having a couple more guys here, I think really helps our practice flow and allows for more competition.
Yeah, that was our decision as players, as leaders, that we just wanted players in the dorms, and it's really just been a player-led team like all summer, and I can feel it. Like Coach Will has taken a step back, and he's given us the standard. He's given us everything he's wanted out of us, and now it's up to us to let the young guys know and uphold that standard.
How's your Heinrich going into fall camp now from maybe where he was as a tight end at the end of the spring?
He's got a lot more reps, and that's the biggest thing for tight end. Like you can't just switch from quarterback to tight end right away and expect to just use athleticism. Tight end's a way different game. But the whole spring, just being there, putting his hand in the ground, getting on receiver stands, running routes, running one-on-ones, and just keep stacking those. Eventually, he's going to get it. He's going to understand it, and you can see it already. Just him knowledge-wise, like he already knew the playbook, but he just saw it as just like a route, like a drawing. But now he's the one doing the drawing, so it's a lot different. And him getting reps at it, he's a lot better at it.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
One of the most dangerous teams in the Big Ten is Nebraska. I think because I know what Matt Rule had created at Temple. I know what he did at Baylor. I know the type of human being he is. And he's awakening it, that's for sure. And, he's a special person. One thing I respect about him, he has a systematic approach of how he wants it done and what it looks like. And I think every coach, you can have that, but you still have to have the proof that it works. And because there's a lot of hard times and a lot of hard days that come up that really test how bad you actually want that as a head coach. And Matt has a clear path of exactly what he wants. We're all as head coaches finding and striving for clarity. And I think that's one thing he always has. He has a clear vision of what he wants to do, what it looks like, what the expectations are, and how to get there. He's a process-oriented coach, and I think that's going to pay off.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi. Lulla reminding you, if you're out on the road today, don't get distracted. Keep those eyes focused and straight ahead. You've got one job as a driver. That's to drive. This message from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Some nice things there from Coach Fleck.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. The guy that I'm terrified of is equally as impressed with our coach.
He's doing some praising.
Yeah. I hope they – you got the blurb that I sent you from my Minnesota Insider?
Yes. Yes, I did.
And the best you could muster is he's got some good points.
He does have some good points.
Shout out Minnesota Insider having good points.
I mean, you want me to go through it? You want me to go – because let's go through it.
Wait, is this to talk me off the Minnesota Gopher concern?
This is just –
or just the reality of what's being said?
I think it's just the reality of what's being said because, I don't have any arguments against anything that he said. That's why all I have is, well, he's got some good points because, all of those things are true. Number one, they should have beat him in 23.
Hey, best wishes, TK. TK's going to tackle the bar exam.
Yeah, he's got day 2 of the bar. Good luck, TK. Hope you knock that thing out.
Memorized all. I mean, he's fine.
But let's leave that out. Doesn't even matter what should have, would have, could have happened in 23. Whatever. They've got 5 new offensive line starters, and they lost 3 starters with 100 combined starts. That's a lot. They were already not necessarily great on offensive line last year, and they're replacing all the production and a second-round pick. So not great. 80% of their wide receiver production's gone. Freshman QB who's thrown 5 passes and had 1 Power 4 offer out of high school. 6 starters on defense gone, and didn't really replace them with like talents in the portal, at least according to the insider. Very little depth on the defensive line. New defensive coordinator with no coordinating experience. Average skill at linebacker, and a bad kicker situation with a guy that was benched at Syracuse.
Sounds daunting.
That's a lot. I mean, what gets me the most, like the biggest one for me was quarterback, wide receiver, offensive line.
Yeah.
That's an uphill battle. Like I get that Nebraska's got some demons, especially in Minneapolis. That's a tall order. Even for PJ Fleck. This feels like maybe one of his reset years.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you, like they have 3 wins against Minnesota since
I understand that.
Since 15.
But I don't want to do the same thing with Minnesota that people are doing with Nebraska, right? Like all the pushback I've gotten on my prediction for Nebraska being 10-2 has nothing to do with this year's Nebraska team.
It's just historically what they've been. Yeah, I could see. Well, what other argument do you have other than to be a pessimist?
Right, that's what I mean. Like, but if somebody comes to me and goes like, "Hey, I don't think Dylan Ryle is as good as you think you are, and it's because of X, Y, and Z," and I am concerned about the transition from the defensive staff that there was last year to this defensive staff. Like, there's things that you could say about this year's team that I would at least have to address and listen to, but nobody brings those up. Because I don't think they're actual real concerns. Their only thing that they can come at me with is, well, you have to give them the Nebraska penalty. They're going to lose 3 more games than they should just for being Nebraska. And you have to give them this because they haven't beaten Minnesota in however long. They've only beaten Iowa 2 of the last 10 or whatever. It's like, what does any of that have to do with this year's Nebraska team? That's the same thing with Minnesota. Your fears about Minnesota, while justified, don't really have anything to do with this year's Minnesota team.
Well, actually, they do.
Okay.
Because I do like their wide receiving core, and I do like their running back, and I do like the way that they play defense.
Okay.
So you're right. A lot of times I'll buoy it with
the history.
Yeah. But I do like this team.
Which is totally fair.
And I think there's a reason, like their win total is 7.5. That's high.
It is high.
That's high.
Honestly, the thing that I didn't...
So clearly, Vegas agrees with me.
Yeah. I think the 5 offensive linemen's daunting. Like, that's not great.
Yeah, but so if you want a historical reference, when don't they run the ball well?
Yeah.
So, I mean, whatever.
That's fine. And they might run the ball well by the end of the year. Will they be running the ball well by...
And I don't want to get hung up on necessarily Minnesota as Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at the schedule, which is where this whole thing was birthed from, and when and how they play that game, I was like, fudge. That's always man.
The circumstances of that game concern me more than the teams in that game.
That's fine. And I think at some point we have to graduate into not – I'm not saying you're looking at this like a fan, and I certainly don't want to. But at some point, we got to stop looking at this from a fear perspective too.
Yes.
But I just think that's kind of the natural mindset of a fan base.
See, I think it's the natural mindset of this fan base right now. The fear mindset, for sure. I think other fan bases are in different locations. They're in different places of different programs. Their mindset's not the same, right?
Shane, how many years ago can you remember when Smooth Red called the show and he said, I think it was the 2nd or 3rd year in a row. He said, DB, he had that cool voice. We're getting to the point now where I can't pick the wins and losses. I think that was
like 2017 or something.
Yep, I agree.
It's been a minute.
That was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
To your point.
Yeah.
About the fear.
The fear thing is real for the Nebraska fan base. The Nebraska
I think you're right, Shane. I think that was like 2016, 2017.
And that's fair. But I mean, look at the program.
Matter of fact, Bo may have still been here. Might have been Bo's last year.
See, I would have a hard time believing that because I thought Bo's wins and losses were incredibly
because I think
easy
one
to
of his
predict.
points were you could pick the games he was going to lose.
It wasn't pretty.
That's what I mean. Like I thought Bo was really easy to predict.
I think it might have been. It was either his last year or the first year.
Bo was gonna beat every single team that he was better than, and he was gonna lose to every single team that he was worse than. That's just how it was.
Because the contrarian or the more the duality of it is, I'm also the same person that Nebraska will never return to prominence until they start beating the programs, and in particular at home, which doesn't include Minnesota, that they're perceived better than.
Yeah.
Like that's really the start. So I'm with you, right?
Like for you, in that specific instance, like Michigan State's a really big game.
It's a huge game because it's at home, and that's must win.
And it's right after Michigan, regardless of what happens against Michigan.
That's my game.
Like Michigan State is
Cincinnati, Michigan State
more so than Minnesota
must win
because it's at home.
Yeah, 100%.
Coming up next, Brian Christopherson, Husker247 here on Hurrdat Sports Live.
I'm excited for the depth behind me. I think those guys come in every single day. They work really hard, and they actually buy into what Coach is trying to teach us. So I got no doubt that those guys are going to be ready behind me, and I'm going to do my job of making sure they're ready to go too.
What do you like about Isaiah joining the group, and what do you think he's just going to bring to
Yes, sir. He's another guy, from the receiver spot coming in. I'm really excited for him to be in the group. I'm going to do my job of mentoring him, but, him being able to run routes and do things out of the backfield will be big for us.
At Centros Federal Credit Union, we have the tools and resources to help our members fulfill their financial goals. With a focus on building a stronger community for the next generation of leaders. Centros Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
I mean, it's just we got a little chip on our shoulder, you know what I mean? Just going in there and but I think we got great leadership, Coach TB coming in there. He's definitely preached a lot and taught us a lot since he's been there. And I got a lot of confidence in our group, and we're going to go out there and perform.
Who do you feel has made the biggest jump from maybe the end of last season until through the off season until today, and that group of young linemen?
Yeah, I mean, definitely Keona's my guy. He definitely, I see a lot of potential in him, and I think he's definitely gonna do great things this season. Riley Van Pop, stepping up into a more leadership role. Elijah Judy. We got a lot of guys deep. Dylan Parrott, coming over from the O-line. We just got a lot of guys. We're just pretty young, but I got a lot of faith in them.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live. Here is Husker247 senior writer, Brian Christopherson.
Yeah, you got guys walking into Ace Hardware without their shirts on.
Brian Christopherson.
We got a pretty good sewing circle in this state.
Brian Christopherson.
To me, it's like crunch time, baby.
Here is Brian Christopherson.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by Brian Christopherson from Husker247. What's up, BC?
How you guys doing?
B Sizzle. We're good, man. We're good. Alive and kicking. Pretty excited to get Monday started.
Yeah. It feels like a little bit more today with the dip in the temperature slightly and Byron Buxton back on the IL. It's about that time of the year. You can feel it in the air. It is. We're here now, so that's good.
Oh shoot!
Not the Buxton part, but
Ravi referenced that this morning. I felt terrible. I was like,
I did it seems like twice or three times a year, like right before we talk to you, they put him on the IL.
Yeah, usually it's about now too, and it tells us it's football season. Guys are starting to reach for the pad. So I mean, it's kind of a downer, but there's also that. Oh, I guess Byron's reminding me it's go time in my profession. So that's useful.
But listen, he has been productive, right? I think he's leading you guys in batting average, home runs, RBIs, OBP. Like he's been B2.
He has. He's a great dude, and he likes to be a Minnesota Twin. Not everybody feels that way. So I say it in all love, but yeah, he's banged up. It's only 10 days. He'll get his ribs right or whatever's going on, and hopefully get back to where he was. But yeah, it tells me it's football season. So that it was good Monday to get back over there and have some guys up front, and you feel like we're really off now. Like there's these like phases in the build up toward the season, and Monday felt like the first day of school in a lot of ways, and that's a good feeling, except I didn't have to take the photo on the porch with my mom and have her work with my hair and all that, so that's all right.
Can we get one of those with all the Husker247 guys? Just all you guys taking a photo on a porch?
Shoot.
Yeah, we should have done that through the years. What people could see us age poorly, but yeah. So that's how it felt though, and that's a good feeling to have in the stomach. Like when Luke Lindenmeyer said, on the night before fall camp Sunday, they're in the meeting and he had goosebumps. I just think there is that sort of juice within the locker room about this team and what they can be, and sort of that excitement to actually get after it.
Yeah. So I couldn't. We were speaking of pictures. We had to take some pictures, and I had a colleague that was knee deep in the press conference, so I was sent to go get him, and I had to say, "Hey, Kyle, we've got pictures we have to take. You can't be at the press conference right now. You're going to see him 226,000 more times. Can we go?" But it was captivating because I felt like, for as little as I got to hear live being there, it was interesting to hear him reflect on where they had been and yet be able to lament on where they're going, right? Like he separated kind of the journey and the process from what he thinks they're capable of. I don't know if that's just the speaking ability, but I did like the connection, but still moving forward.
Yeah, are you talking about Rule or Lindenmeyer?
Rule. They both did it.
Yeah. I guess the takeaway I had, and this is a good thing, and this, you could have played the old drinking game with the player-led conversation. The media was feeding it too, and it was, going back and forth. But his players do sound like him, kind of,
yeah.
which is usually a good trait in a team. It's sort of, sometimes in the media, it's not always perfect when everybody sounds like a record playing the same song. But I think that is usually a good sign that the players know what's expected. They see the standard that the coach has established. They're in on it, and they can explain it in much the same way the coach can. And you heard that in Las Vegas too, right? When Rule got up front and he's like, "Hey, I could put Latovsky or Ryle up here and they could handle it." They said, I could say the same thing as you, coach, sort of deal. So I think that's something that kind of jumps out at me about where they're at and why there's probably that. I don't even know if it's quiet confidence. I just think it's confidence in what they can be this year. And that's the way you want it to be less than 30 days out from this season. You want a team that is walking tall. And I think the competition each day at practice feeds that too. I just think it's a deeper team than it probably has been the last couple of years. We've talked about it with the secondary like last week. Like I think the second line and the secondary is going to push the first line more than it ever has since I've covered it in a long while. And I think if you go through the position groups, a lot of them, you could say the same thing.
Okay, so here's the interesting thing. What about so depth came up in the stream, and we were talking about, Nebraska's depth. Why do you feel comfortable talking about depth in this year, even though, and I agree with you for the record, but it's still kind of untested and unproven? Why do you think now, in kind of this timid stage we are as a fan base, and we haven't had a ton of success lately, like, why do you think we're comfortable now talking about depth, even though they haven't really played?
Because they have a lot of guys in this era in college football where the portal's so active. It wasn't near as active around here as far as guys leaving as some might have expected, like back in December. And if you think about the roster, at one point Rule was asked about it being a young team, and it is youngish on paper. I agree with that. Like, we've been over that on the show. Like, there's only 34, some juniors and seniors, the rest are sophomore on down. But a lot of those sophomores on down, when you look at them, you're like, oh, that guy's been here. This is year 3 for him, maybe. Like, he's a third-year sophomore, or it's at least year 2 where there's that understanding of, I believe I can play at this level now. I've shown it in practices, and now you can sometimes take that next step off of that platform where you've built that confidence, where you're not kind of going out there like the first year, like, do I belong? I think there's more guys who are past that phase. So that's why I say it. But your point within the question is a fair one, in that I feel that way. And yet it is that intriguing dynamic of there is some unproven guys that we're talking about when we speak of that depth. So they've got to go show that that's valid when it counts now.
BC, we've talked a lot about on the show this morning, like history versus reality. The fear of kind of what Nebraska's been or had in the past, or who they've lost to in the past, versus the reality of this year's team. How do you kind of separate, as obviously somebody that's grown up here and knows the history and has experienced up close and personal the struggles of the last 10 years, versus like what you actually think this team is?
Yeah, it's one of the toughest challenges I think the coaching staff has at Nebraska, is because, and this is sometimes a good thing, it is a place that cares a lot about what came before, and that obviously that can be a really good quality. Sometimes, though, there's sort of, with that, there can be that, well, this happened last year, so I think this is going to happen again the next year feeling, where it's like, oh, it's just going to transfer over because that's the way it's been for so long. And I thought Rule had a point in Las Vegas that was interesting about this team. The best thing they can do, he said, is stop talking about yesterday or what happened before. It's just what are you doing today? What's tomorrow, basically. And then, that kind of goes with the whole close game conversation. We've written the stories and talked, and they were 2-5 in the 1-score games last year and all that. But Rule's point is they weren't good enough yet. Get a little bit better. He thinks they're a little bit better. So you win those games. And maybe actually those don't end up 1-score stats in 25 if you're actually as good as you can be and everybody maxes out and you win by 14. So I do think, though, when Rule took this job, it was quickly realized that's one of the biggest hurdles to overcome, is within the fans and sort of the clouds that hang over the program of the last decade or so. There's going to be reminders when there is a wrong turn on any given week of, oh, this happened last year, so it might happen again. I think he realized that the first game he coached at Nebraska, Minnesota, was a game up in Minneapolis, the Huskers probably should have won, leading 10-3 with like 5 minutes left. They lose it, and immediately he knows that like he's probably for worse getting what happened before him put on his back too, and so that's something they've had to work past. I think it helps though that you've got new portal guys who didn't experience the last couple of years, and you've got guys like Ryle and stuff who I just think they see last year as, hey, it was a learning experience and some of those losses, and I'm going to use that to help me in those kind of games moving forward.
Yeah, it's interesting. He tugged at my it's not even my heartstrings, just the ability to recollect, because we have this revisionist history, and it's not, and I'm not saying that as a negative because we won a ton of games. But 94 was pretty ugly. 93 was kind of ugly. Like, we weren't like this fine offense. There was a couple of practices, I think, where guys will tell you where we had to start over, and he pulled the team off the field. Offensively, we weren't a mess, but we weren't 95, right? So we were down at the half against Wyoming, and I remember the conversation being, we're not playing to the standard, and he went down the road of kind of what we're capable of. We didn't really have a Rolodex to tap back into to kind of self-police. So I say that to say I felt it was interesting for him to revisit last year at a 13-6, 13-7 game between Ohio State and UCLA, but still be optimistic about this year. Like, is he using that? Does he do that as a, hey, remember when? Like, you can remember history, but don't be held captive by it. Like, how he dances that dance is pretty not unique, but it's intriguing to me to see how they respond.
It's also, I think you can say to your team, like, hey, why fall into that dynamic of like the UCLA game that he brought up? It was what, 13-7 at halftime.
That was our final in 94. People forget about that, right? When we went to Pasadena, like, that was ugly, or 13-10 or whatever it was. Remember, like, we had some of those, and it's like, you do learn to push through that, but I don't know if we talked about it openly. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the 94 UCLA game. I was even thinking of UCLA last year because Rule kind of brought it up.
Well, that too.
You know, where, that game was 13-7 at the half, I think. And the feeling within the stadium last year, that is, was like, this is bleak. It did feel that way. And I think the team felt it. And he mentioned that, like, in the locker room, it just wasn't the same as the week before at Ohio State, before the bye week, when Hull made the kick and everybody's, he said it was like a revival. Everybody was on fire, like, we're going to win this game. And so I do think, go back to the past a little bit and be like, guys, why was that the way it was against UCLA? It didn't need to be that way. You have confidence in the next play and what you can get done. But that is an example, I think, of what this program will have to overcome this year, is in the stadium, especially in Lincoln, when there's days like that UCLA game last year, there is sometimes that feeling in the air. You can feel it come down to the field a little bit, like, okay, I've seen this before. And so that's where you got to fight through it and have those guys who are like, no, this is a new team. This is a new opportunity. This is my shot at it with these guys. And whatever happened last year in 1994, so what now? Let's go get it. And I do think there is that usefulness of, there are some of those second, third year guys meshed with guys who didn't even experience any of that. So some of that history we always talk about isn't their history at all. So they don't give two figs about it, right? So that I think sometimes, I mean, that can help, like, to have those guys like Dane Key, like, he's just like, this is my first time in Nebraska. Let's just go get it. Like, that works sometimes.
I do think there is enough injection. But, Maryland at home felt a lot like UCLA at home last year. Maryland and UCLA at home felt a lot like Minnesota bringing 65 guys here to Lincoln a handful of years ago. You know what I mean? So I do like Tim Miles, right? Don't put that crap on me, with new young guys that haven't been there, because he's developing guys and he's recruiting guys that couldn't really care less. Like they were brought here to be part of the answer, not the problem.
Don't put that crap on me.
Yep. That's a good way to put it. And so that's what you're hoping for. And that's where you're like, okay, let's look forward and not behind.
That's what he talked about with Dylan's recruitment, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was a little interesting nugget.
Yeah. I thought the whole thing with Dylan was interesting in Las Vegas of just like, and he's talked about it before, but it's always interesting about just like come be a part of going through the tough stuff and building this program up, and that it'll make you like a better pro, like in the future. Like you were that guy who already had to take a program that was sort of middling or had to figure out some answers to some tough stuff, and you were a central part of that, and that's already in your background because you did it at Nebraska. And I wrote a column about it. Like when Dylan was up front in Las Vegas, he got like 2 or 3 questions in a row, like from Ohio State guys. And it was sort of about like not going there and all this stuff. And it kind of made me step back a little bit. And I have always appreciated his story, but it's worth reminding yourself, we're watching a cool story unfold of him coming back to his dad's alma mater with a program that was scuffling a bit and wanting to be a part of the solution and sticking with it. And, there's obviously any place you're quarterback, you're going to take your lumps and take your hits. If you lose a game at Ohio State, you're going to get knocked around pretty good that week around town. So that's a pressure-filled job too. But I just love the story that's in front of us of there's a 5-star quarterback in his second year trying to learn from his first-year lessons at his dad's old school, and it means a lot to him to get this program back into the elite, into the playoff discussion. And sometimes you got to step back from the forest a bit and look at that and be like, that's a cool story we're about to watch. However it goes, you got to admire that he's taking on that task.
So do you remember the question about what prompted the discussion about Mekhi Nelson? Was it the who's number 2, the establishing an image? Was that still the same part of that answer? I can't remember.
Yeah, when he said he can be one of the more explosive guys, I think was it was sort of about like just how do you feel about your running back depth right now going into it.
So to your point, over the weekend I was just talking with Mekhi, and one of the things that he said, and I just wonder if you think this is part of what you're talking about. So Coach Barthel was one of the guys that offered. Coach Rule saw him in person and was like, hey, if we pick you, like, you're it. Like, this is how you have to think. And he was talking about one of the things that he's looking forward to is he wants to be part of change, right? He wants to he sees the relationship between like Amir and Emmett, and he wants like, Amir or some of these old guys. He's like, DB, you could do this. And like, he has this thing where there's this competitive deal where he understands the tradition of the position, but he wants to not only be a part of it, but like change the narrative. And I don't think he's alone. How intentional is it, do you think, when Coach Rule is so active in recruiting and his staff is real similar, that's the message that the young guys are getting? It's not just the Dylans that come be about it. It seems to be almost to a man of these new young guys that they brought into the program in terms of their mindset, not just their physical ability.
Yeah, I think it's a big part of it. And I do think there's a good number of recruits out there who that's going to appeal to their competitive spirits. Be like, yeah, there's certain guys who are afforded the opportunity to go to a place that was like in the CFP last year or a Georgia type program. And that's big time too, to like go chase championships from schools that have been in it recently. But there is I think a special component that Nebraska can offer, kind of in a rare category where there is a great history to the program that a recruit can see, but also it hasn't been there as much recently. And the idea like, hey man, you can come be
Yeah.
that crew
Yeah.
that changes the whole story back and puts it back where it's supposed to be. You could say like the rightful place as people around here think about it, amongst the elite. And I don't know, if I'm a guy like who thinks I'm pretty good at football and a competitor, I'm taking that message and thinking that'd be pretty sweet, to like be that kind of guy who changes things. So it's like with Dylan and some of these guys, Mackay.
He
I think
practices competitively. Dylan practices competitively. Like I know, again, the guy in my house I know practices competitively. Donovan Jones is there just seems to be these competitive guys that don't typically blink. You know what I mean? And there's a lot. I mean, if you watch Shavers, like he's a menace.
McGahee.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like maybe it was guys didn't want him enough, or they couldn't just find it. But they are competitive practice guys.
Well, you've got guys in the last couple of classes that came to a program where they know it's not going to be handed to them. They know that it's in a certain state where you've got to keep building this up. That now they trust the staff and their vision that it's going to get better and like the success they're going to have. But they know they have to be, the straw that stirs that drink when you get down to it. And that's why the player-led thing comes up so much. I mean, you can have good coaching and a good vision, but you still got to have those guys who, like in July, want to do the extra stuff when no one's around. And, from the outside looking in, it seems like they have that. I realize it's the time of season where everybody's kind of an optimist and drinks a little Kool-Aid, so that goes with it, I guess. But I truly believe that they've got a great culture over there. And you would suspect that at some point, that's going to connect with this push and a bump in results too.
Right. I mean, let's just use Jeremiah Charles. Right. Kind of after maybe I'm misremembering, but it seemed like after the dunk contest at the Devaney. Right. And everybody's, explosive, really, really good athlete. And then, Nebraska staff kind of talked about him a little bit and Jeremiah Charles is coming. And he was one of the young guys that played early and showed flashes and then kind of, was demoted a little bit, got benched. Wasn't even the first young corner off the bench in the bowl game post UCLA. And to hear D. Singleton single him out about his tenaciousness and kind of staying with it, like that has to be in the culture, but more so, it has to be in your DNA too, right? As a player. Because I don't know if you know this, but after being benched against UCLA, it's hard to come back from. Not that I know, but like you have to have some of that in you already. And if there is that in these guys, then they definitely have a chance, especially if it's competitive and deep as we think it could be, even with unproven guys. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does to me. I mean, go back to the portal. There weren't that many guys who left, and there were guys who could have talked tail and left. I mean, there were. Like, Jeremiah Charles could have done that. Like, a Bryce Turner could have done that.
Demetrius Bell could have done it.
Yep. Gage Stinger, I know when Raiola was listing off, like, the 7 or 8 guys, kind of leadership council type guys, like, in the spring or whenever it was, he was one of the guys. And, he hasn't played a ton on defense or, like, how it's been maybe as he suspected coming out. And
Superman crush on Gage Stinger, by the way, BC.
Yeah.
I just do.
I'm intrigued what kind of role he can carve out. And especially, I'm really interested too with like who's all on special teams and like how it's going to look. But you could list off like 15, 20 guys like we're going through here that have been through some stuff where it didn't just happen at a snap of a finger. And I would say Nebraska had a higher percentage than most places, and I feel this is definitely true, that did not just head out the door when it didn't happen the first couple of years. And so I think back to the tying the whole conversation together in depth and all this stuff and why there's this hope in year 3 and this optimism. It's because you do have those guys who have worked through the hard stuff, and now, you see if some of the fruits of their labor is going to show up.
Yeah, BC, I mean, I know when we talk about depth, I'm very optimistic about their depth at a lot of spots. But I look at and I go, okay, maybe going back to, the 90s or whenever, maybe this wouldn't have qualified as good depth then. But I look around the rest of college football.
I would have.
I look around the rest of college football and I go, okay, maybe we haven't seen some of these guys maybe as much as we would like to, but you also have to look at the comparison to the rest of college football where you say, hey, Nebraska has guys that have been here for multiple years in backup positions. And it's not because they're not good enough, it's because they're young. And you look around the rest of college football, that's not very common. You don't have guys.
And you wouldn't have known we had depth if we didn't play.
Right.
Right, you still have to have the opportunity, and they could still have it.
Yeah, and honestly, for a lot of those guys, I think that's this year that we see that. But I think we sometimes struggle to, put in perspective what the rest of college football is going through, to your point about guys not leaving and being here for multiple years. But I also think we struggle to put into perspective what we thought about teams that ended up having good depth before the depth showed itself, right? Like I use this example all the time 2 years ago with the offensive line where at one point they were down 3 starters and it ended up being fine, right? Nobody going into that season would have said the offensive line had good depth. We were horrified that we couldn't find 5 starters, right? But we ended up playing 8 different guys or 9 different guys starting in positions on the offensive line that year. And so you look in retrospect, you're like, oh, man, that was a deep offensive line because they were still functional 9 deep. So I think I think when we talk about depth, like that's really a hard perspective to have because, look at Riley Van Poppel. If we knew Riley Van Poppel was about to have the year that junior year Ty Robinson is, we'd all feel fine. But we didn't know junior year Ty Robinson was going to have that year either.
Yeah. Yep.
I get it.
I don't know. There's not a question in there. I just ranted.
No, it's a good point. And, well, you were talking about the O-line, and last year is a great example.
Yeah,
like,
Gatula.
Gatula pops in and played really well for that circumstance as a redshirt freshman. And now, I guess one of the biggest points of optimism when I was over there Monday, I was looking at the interior, and I'm like, okay, Latovsky looks as great as he's ever looked.
Yeah.
Latovsky, Evans, Spindler is your interior. And I'm like, that's nice. Like that's a nice looking 3 to set the table. And then you got your bookends, and there's a great competition where someone's got to really freaking earn that job. Like it's not going to be easy because you had Gatula out there working at left. Pritchett's obviously a guy they brought in with that role in mind. Right side, Tyler Kanak has had a great offseason and is playing the position now that he feels most comfortable at right tackle. And then Teddy P's out there and seems to be testing well and back to good numbers that suggest he can make a move. And so when you look at those guys and then you think about the Grant Brickses and those type of Jason Machachaks coming up, you're like I like how that's happening on that O-line, and that's where it all starts, obviously, to play winning football. So that was what I walked away Monday thinking. I feel great about the interior, and the competition at the tackle spots is going to be so intense that I would suspect they get something good out of it.
Yeah, imagine like if you're just, and sometimes people like the cynics or not, because they're not always the same. Sometimes fan bases here, you talk about body types and the way guys look, and then they kind of give you the eye roll. Oh, just win. And it's like, well, in the meantime, you got to be in the lab, right? And you have to at least look the part. Riley and Frost had the infamous lines about looking like or not looking like a Big Ten team, right?
Right.
But just imagine, and I don't think you have to extrapolate too far. If Van Poppel, Keona Davis, who you saw the other day, goodness.
Monster.
Williams and Winari.
Lenhart
looks good. Judy's a 300-pounder. Like, imagine if you just said, hey, Van Pop, Keona, and Winari, like, you guys get off the bus first, right? And then you go stand next to Latovsky and Spindler and Pritchett. Like, that at least looks like a Big Ten team. And a lot of those guys that I mentioned, we know can play. Like, that's the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like a Big Ten team, and I think back to some other preseasons, we had to talk ourselves into it looking like a Big Ten team.
I agree.
I mean, I can remember, or this is going back, but it's been this. It was this way for a while. Where like, was it DeAndre Thomas? I think as a true freshman had to like start it. So there was somebody like that who had to start at like D tackle, or he was playing key snaps at D tackle at Oregon in that game in 2017 as a true freshman, like playing like the nose almost, undersized, and like good player in the long run, but there just weren't enough parts then.
He's
and
just
what
too,
you're talking about, you're talking about like with Keona and some of these guys, there is a difference between how they look and how some of those teams maybe 5-6 years ago look. But as you say, I mean, it all looks good on paper. It looks good at a first glance. And now a lot of it's just going to be mentality, like with this team. Like, do you have that right stuff they think they have? It sure sounds good. But are you going to have it when you face that first obstacle that's going to come early? I mean, Michigan's going to hit you in the mouth at some point. Cincinnati could hit Nebraska in the mouth in Arrowhead. And we're going to have to see, okay, all that stuff for the last 8 months, you've worked off the field and on to be that team with chemistry. Is it going to show in that moment?
That's our guy, Brian Christopherson, Husker247. BC, appreciate the time as always. Great stuff.
Beat Sizzle. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
That's Brian Christopherson, Husker247. I think people just forget sometimes we got like defensive backs out there tipping the scales at 2 bills, running 22 miles an hour. Like, like there's some dudes out there. Like, they've been doing the work in the meantime. It's not like they're just like crossing their fingers and hoping that some backup is going to be a guy. They've been doing the work. There's a reason they look like a Big Ten team now. They've been putting the work in.
I love your example.
It's a hypothetical. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. Andy Kendeigh coming up next.
Give me that cheddar, we getting Rico. Big money and rolls like burritos. Give me that hot sauce, no pico. Give me that.
Yeah, I'm very, very grateful that I believe it's Judge Wilkins that they grandfathered in the players. I mean, I don't know how I could have told some of these guys like, hey, you're not on the team. I mean, as I've told you guys, we had guys who said, hey, no matter what, I'm going to be here, and so they pay the same price. When you think about it, I mean, they're paying to go to school to go out there and do all that stuff. So I'm glad they're out there, and a lot of them are good players, and they're developing into good players. So. And then it allows us to have, a lot of competition, allows us to have 3 groups, sometimes maybe 4 groups. We'll have some injuries as we go. There'll be attrition. And have guys that can step in and give reps, I think is really important. So even in the NFL, they have smaller, they have a 90-man roster, but you can still practice against other teams. You still have preseason games, right? So to get to 105, I've done it before at Baylor, but just having a couple more guys here, I think really helps our practice flow and allows for more competition.
Yeah, that was our decision as players, as leaders, that we just wanted players in the dorms, and it's really just been a player-led team like all summer, and I can feel it. Like Coach Will has taken a step back, and he's given us the standard. He's given us everything he's wanted out of us, and now it's up to us to let the young guys go and uphold that standard.
How different is Heinrich going into fall camp now from maybe where he was as a tight end at the end of the spring?
He's got a lot more reps, and that's the biggest thing for tight end. Like you can't just switch from quarterback to tight end right away and expect to just use athleticism. It tight end's a way different game. But the whole spring, just being there, putting his hand in the ground, getting on receiver stands, running routes, running one-on-ones, and just keep stacking those. Eventually, he's going to get it. He's going to understand it, and you can see it already. Just him knowledge-wise, like he already knew the playbook, but he just saw it as just like a route, like a drawing. But now he's the one doing the drawing, so it's a lot different. And him getting reps at it, he's a lot better at it.
I'm excited for the depth behind me. I think those guys come in every single day.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's CBM Ravi, Lulla. We're here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Don't forget our summer specials are still going on, whether it's the Philly steak pizza or I've been on kind of a potato.
Wait a minute. I haven't seen the Philly steak pizza.
Oh, the Philly steak pizza's out there. Got to try the Philly steak pizza, man. Or I've been on kind of like a potato salad kick lately. They got a barbecued pulled pork with potato salad. Ooh, it's like you're at a cookout.
I literally just asked you about new specials, and you told me there was nothing new popping.
Well, it's not new. That's been on there for a while. It's been all summer. It's the summer specials.
It's not on the board.
It's on the other side of the board. You're looking at the backside.
That sucks. Good thing we got AK coming to break this thing up.
Make sure you come out to the bar, check it out. And now we got to check out with our guy, Andy Kendeigh, KETV. AK, what's going on, bud?
Fellas, good morning. How are we?
We're good, man. How was mowing in feels like 109-degree weather?
Well, as I told the crew last night, I'm Forrest Gump. I am not a smart man. That was that was terrible. That's about as hot as it gets.
What time was it?
About 11:30.
Bless your heart.
Right about noon.
That a boy. That a boy. Did you put like the little rag behind your neck and just like buck up?
You were in like the bucket hat.
No,
what were we doing?
No. I just went.
He said
I have
no.
a baseball cap, T-shirt, and
No.
just T-shirt, cap, and then like I got to the point, fellas, where I was in the home stretch. Right where you see like 3 lines left. I can do it in 3 lines. And I was like, I gotta take a knee right now. I need to take a knee. Yeah, that's how bad it was.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Dripping with sweat.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Andy. My yard looks terrible right now because I refused to mow it over the course of the last like handful of days because it needs it, and I probably should have done it on the front end, but I was busy. Before I knew it was going to get super hot, I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not going out there right now.
AK, not to go out Mike Sauter and talk about the lawn too much, but I got a little crabgrass that's pissing me off too. Like, I think it's a thing this year.
Yeah, I got a lot of crabgrass this year.
No doubt. I've had stuff growing in my yards that I've never seen before. I'm like, what? Where does this come from? And my mower has seen better days, so it doesn't get as low and not as sharp, and so you got to mow. You got to mow more often, and then it doesn't mulch as much. So there's that glops of grass that gets cut. That if you don't go over it, it turns brown after days, and you can see the lines of. Yeah, so it was a struggle. The struggle is real.
The struggles of mowing. What are we doing?
You know what they say. AK, mow money, mow problems. Wow. So you're telling me your backyard does not look like the practice field? It doesn't look like Augusta National out there?
Hey, how sweet is that thing, though?
It does not. No, it was sweet. The interesting thing, I was at practice Monday, and you guys saw it, like where they have the real, like the field turf versus the real grass. You can see where they split it in the end zone, of the grass practice field, and it really is tough to tell the difference. It is. I know it's kind of one of the more overplayed talking points this week, but we grasp at the new and the shiny objects, and that field, I'm telling you, fellas, that's one of a kind. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is pretty cool.
What's the grass person called? Agronom? Like whomever that person is, do you know that they found her right in their own backyard on East Campus?
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. She's one of the tops in the country.
Turf management, whatever they're doing over there, they're doing it right. So,
yeah, apparently she's brilliant. But anyway, AK, how about that? Right in their own backyard.
It looks like Augusta.
It looks like Augusta. So you've got Wisconsin under your belt. You got Nebraska. Do you, Andy Kendeigh, allow yourself to play the eyeball test game in the offseason?
To a point.
Does it have does it have anything to do with if you've seen them play before or not?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but I also, what I take into account though is what the eyeball test is coupled with the eardrum, right? It's what you listen and what you hear too, because last week, DB in Vegas, you heard a head coach at Nebraska who really knows that he's got the makings and the ingredients of what could be a special team, right? If everything comes together. And that's what I took away from Vegas, from Nebraska. Like they're going to be better, and they know they're going to be better. Now they just have to let it perform. And having seen what I saw on Monday, and like some of the guys who are new, and some of the guys who have been there and have reshaped their bodies and are moving more fluidly, that type of thing. Granted, they're just in t-shirts and helmets and whatever. That's what I take away. The Wisconsin thing, what surprised me is a little bit of the tone from Luke Fickell last week with
no, I meant your frame of reference in covering, like your historical, like what you've seen in players, right? Like you've covered college football a long time, so I was wondering if you've allowed yourself to get into like being enamored with body types and comparing.
Oh, no, I just take it at face value. Like I know you can see improvement. So that usually translates that they're stronger and bigger and they should be faster, right?
Yeah.
So I know that this team looks different than they have in years past. And I know what they have depth-wise, Nebraska, on the offensive line, which intrigues me. And now they need to develop the defensive line. So, and I think that's obviously where you win football games. So but I won't go overboard, right? I know it's week one. They don't even have pads. One of those dudes. They don't even have pads on. Like, so we know that this is going to be a grind in August. And but I am willing to say that the potential is there for this team to be special. And I've kind of gone back to that when talking to friends, colleagues, and what have you, whether it was in Las Vegas, talking to other reporters I know from around the country, or just talking to friends from around the country. This team is going to be better. And whether they continue the trend of double-digit wins in year 3 under Coach Rule, that remains to be seen. But I would be shocked if they don't take a step forward this year.
So let me ask you something, because Ravi and I were talking about fear and kind of we're getting a little anxious, and we're worried about this team and we're worried about that team. And from a media standpoint, are you comfortable? Because I almost uttered this at Fairway yesterday. I almost said, the offensive line could be the strength of this team. And I believe that it is, but I was still a little reluctant to say it out loud because I didn't know how the gentleman would receive it. So I kept it basic. At what point do you think, or would you feel comfortable saying, you know what? God, these guys can play 8, 9, 10 deep. I've seen all of them play before. I don't have to reach. I feel like this could be the strength of the team. Are you comfortable saying you feel like O-line could be a strength of this team and own it?
Well, I will tell you, DB, when we had you in a couple weeks ago and you mentioned that, I was like, really? And then you start looking deeper and you're like, holy cow, absolutely. This is
I rattled, because back then I rattled off 8, 9 in my sleep.
Yeah. And these are guys who have experience. They have played college football before. We're not talking about a guy who maybe can be able to make the leap and we have to wait and see. No. These are guys who have played in Big Ten games. We're talking about Justin Evans, Henry Lutovsky, Gunnar Gatula, Teddy Prohaska, like Rocco Spindler,
Tyler Knack.
And you can keep going. Yeah.
Who looks fantastic.
Elijah
by the way.
Pritchett, don't forget about Pritchett. So this team, I agree with you, DB, and it's twofold. Yeah, you want to protect Dylan so he has time, but you're going to, as we all know, you got to win the line of scrimmage and move the ball on the ground.
Yeah, I want them to run the football with those good tight ends, too.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. They've got to run the football. And when we say run the football, too, and I don't limit that to just, turn around, hand off, maybe his own read here and there. This is also getting the guys, getting your running backs out of the backfield and just, the little pass out in the flat that Emmett Johnson caught at USC and he rumbled into the end zone, or at the Pinstripe Bowl. And that's granted it's a pass completion, but that is in essence a run play,
Yeah.
So I would agree with you that they're going to have to run the football, and I could not agree with you more that the offensive line sneakily has moved into the forefront as one of the strengths of this team. Something I would not have said in the spring.
Yeah.
That's our guy, Andy Kendeigh, KETV. Andy, appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, boys. Thank you. Have a good week.
You
Appreciate it.
I mean, I go as far as to say I think the trenches in general is the strength of the team.
Listen, again, if you're right, it's going to be a really, really good football team.
If I'm right, then the 10 wins makes a lot of sense.
Sure.
I mean, you don't have to put a number on it, but if I'm right, I'm in the neighborhood.
My gut, gun to head today before Saturday.
Uh-huh.
Monday next week will be a big week, because we have a full week. If this football team, if that happens, I get the sense, you asked me right now, gun to head, no punt, no, I'm not making light of it. I'm sorry. So
just the saying,
whatever. I think they get to 9 with the bowl game making a chance for 10.
Okay.
That's what it feels like. Now there are some things, that I need to see. But right now it feels, that's what it feels like. Because about a month ago I would have said 8 with the bowl game being 9. And I actually think that's a successful season.
I think anything above 8 is successful.
Because I'm just telling you, if this team won 8 games and the bowl game made 9, everything is set up for this run
in 26
of 26 because, Ravi, you have a young group. And if you got to 8 with the bowl game making 9, listen to me. That means your young pups did what they were supposed to do, and you were set up to make at least a couple year run.
Yep.
Because of your youth.
Because what did we say? 34 juniors and seniors. Everybody else is.
If you get to 8 with the chance at 9 in the bowl game, that's all you need nationally to continue to gain momentum in recruiting. Because you'll have proven
proof of concept.
You'll have proven I'm really good at evaluating. We're really good at developing. And I told you we were on an upward trajectory.
And the wins are starting to come.
This is the last time I'm going to tell you, hop on board.
Get in now.
Right? Because that's why I said they won't have to change the philosophy.
Yeah.
This is already how they've recruited. And listen, you've got to win. You've got 5, in my opinion, 4 50-50 games.
Okay. At Minnesota?
50-50.
Michigan State?
Not 50-50. Must win. You have to win.
Okay.
It's a game you have to win.
Iowa?
50-50.
Michigan?
50-50.
And at UCLA?
USC.
Okay. So what you have one.
If you want the 5th, I was going to say 5. If you want the 5th, it's UCLA right now.
On the road, yeah.
Because it's on the road.
We don't know what
they're coming off a bye. Although, did you like the statistics my man Mike gave me? he had Googled a couple of articles,
Oh,
and I forgot that was out there. So MK came through for me with our bye weeks fact versus fiction.
Yeah.
Which I tweeted out, which I thought was interesting. I think we overvalue buys in college.
Yeah, we do. I think we do.
That was the takeaway from
Austin. Did I don't know what the parameters were on what Austin looked up versus what Mike looked up.
Oh, he is good at that. You know what? He probably. Well, we can have that in duties otherwise assigned. He probably missed his calling as like a data analyst.
He is pretty good at that.
He's really good at that.
He's good at it with our like clips and stuff too, like a little behind the curtain stuff.
He is very good with data.
I think he told me 26 and 25.
In the last how many?
10 years.
It sounds right.
I think that's Nebraska specific. 26 and 25 over the last 10 years.
Sounds right.
Of teams coming off of a bye week or Nebraska.
I think it's different in buys are different in college with rest because young people don't know. Like, it's always interesting. Like, sure, it's advantageous for SC to be coming off a bye, but you also have to fit that into your travel schedule and how you want to practice. So I'm sure Lincoln Riley's smart enough, and he's done it before, where you just work backwards.
But the players
from a
haven't necessarily done
physicality
it
standpoint,
before. Yeah.
but the players still have to go through it.
Yeah. I also wonder.
You know what I mean?
I also think that, and
like how to ramp up to the physicality with crispness, where you can get on the road, leaving a day early, coming from wherever, to still get that whatever your pre-practice day is, and be ready to go. Like, you have to kind of know your team. It's nothing you could just build in automatically. Like, you have to know your guys too. So it's situational because you swap them out so often.
I also think that in college, momentum is a little bit more fickle within the season. Like, if you're playing
Do you know why? Do you know why?
I would imagine immaturity, but I'm not. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you. I agree with you 1,000%.
Like, if I've got a 4-game winning streak and I go into a bye, I feel like I'm more likely to lose that momentum in college than I am in the NFL, where the NFLs can kind of stay on it. They're professional. They've done this before. And you've got a core group of guys that sort of stays together a little bit longer, or at least you used to. Today's NFL is a little bit different. But in college, like, I do feel like they're a little bit more. That's why we see more variance in results in general. They're just a little bit more emotional.
That's why you could see week 4 Vandy losing to Bama after Bama just beat Georgia.
And then you can also
realize
see Vandy lose to Georgia State last year.
When Vandy whipped, they had lost to them 2 weeks before.
Yeah, they lost to Georgia State, and then they go out and upset some. You know what I mean? So there's so much more emotional immaturity in a college kid versus the NFL that I do think the buys help less. I do think the negatives of a buy are accentuated because of that emotional immaturity.
I don't think people want to hear this, especially my friends, like my teammates. But you know what? It's really important to navigate.
What's that?
Downtime.
Yeah.
How do you rest?
How many times in a bye week you see like somebody gets arrested or somebody gets in trouble?
And what does active rest really mean?
Yeah.
That's why I like Nebraska's strength and nutrition. You know, they tested right after an off week. And they set however many personal records.
Yeah.
Coming off a rest week.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have stopped maybe training. I'd have tampered it down like 3 or 4 days before.
Yeah.
And then tested.
Got to know your team.
Tells you how much I know.
Got to know your guys. We've got Mitch Sherman from The Athletic coming up next.
I'm excited for the depth behind me. I think those guys come in every single day. They work really hard, and they actually buy into what Coach is trying to teach us. So I got no doubt that those guys are going to be ready behind me, and I'm going to do my job of making sure they're ready to go too.
What do you like about Isaiah? Do you want in the group, and what do you think he's just going to bring to
Yes, sir. He's another guy, from the receiver spot coming in. I'm really excited for him to be in the group. I'm going to do my job of mentoring him, but, him being able to run routes and do things out of the backfield will be big for us.
At Centros Federal Credit Union, we have the tools and resources to help our members fulfill their financial goals. With a focus on building a stronger community for the next generation of leaders. Centros Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
I mean, it's just got a little chip on our shoulder, you know what I mean? Just going in there and but I think we got great leadership. You know, Coach TB coming in there. You know, he's definitely preached a lot and taught us a lot since he's been there. And I got a lot of confidence in our group, and we're going to go out there and perform.
Who do you feel has made the biggest jump from maybe the end of last season until through the offseason until today, and that group of young linemen?
Yeah, I mean, definitely like Keona's my guy. He definitely, I see like a lot of potential in him, and I think he's definitely gonna do great things this season. Riley Van Pop, you know, just stepping up into a more leadership role. Elijah Judy. You know, we got a lot of guys deep. Dylan Parrott, you know, coming over from the O-line. We just got a lot of guys. You know, we're just pretty young, but I got a lot of faith in them.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Yeah, I think Heinrich's, you know, as I said, he's one of the best athletes you'll ever see in terms of, I mean, height, weight, speed. You know, the challenge is the thought has never really been, hey, you know, can he handle like the catching, the getting open, all that stuff. It's really been more like, you know, just making the transition from a non-contact position to making contact and blocking people and moving people, and he's worked really hard at it. So that's a really deep room. It was great to see Mac Markway out there today. Great to see Carter out there today. So, you know, obviously we're working Carter back in a smart way, kept him out of the special teams period, but because, you know, just to give him a little break. But there'll be you know, Luke's, Lindemeyer is an excellent football player. You know, Ingerson, we think, you know, he's got an unbelievable future. So there's a lot of guys competing. But Heinrich brings some unique qualities to the table, and you know, we'll try to take advantage of his strengths while at the same time also developing that run blocking. And I know he's 100% bought in on it, so he'll do a good job.
We're back here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. It's Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centros Federal Credit Union. That's Austin Jacobsen. I'm Ravi Lulla, and we are joined now by our friend Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. Mitch, how are you this morning?
What's going on? How are you guys?
Doing good, Mitch. Sorry you just missed out on DB. He just
I was like, did I what happened?
No.
Did I not see him? I'm thinking I just, you know, like I haven't been awake for that many hours, but something was going awry in my brain there as you
we should do
back.
This where I switch like in between guests with DB just to see who like picks up on it and who wouldn't.
I was thinking about do you watch The Office, Mitch?
Yeah, absolutely. Seen every episode, I'm sure.
I thought about trying to pull the Asian Jim thing on you and just be like, that's been him the whole time. I don't know what you're talking about.
Way to not see race, Mitch.
But no, I decided against that. Mitch,
I would have just thought that I was dreaming of Damon. Like I saw him, but I didn't really see him.
Would you say you dream of Damon often, Mitch?
Not often. Like probably once a week or so.
DP just popping in quick.
Just a little Mandela effect, you know. I don't just wait. Wasn't DB? Nope, it's always been Austin. Mitch, as we get underway here, first week of fall practice, I guess what has been your general? I don't know that you have takeaways at this point yet, but what are some of the things that you're keeping or wanting to keep the closest eye on throughout fall camp?
I just went out on Monday on the practice field when we had a few minutes to watch and had some players and position groups in mind that I was hoping to check out. You know, I wanted to see the new punter, wanted to take a look at the running backs and see what that group looked like with the depth that they're trying to build. I wanted to see the defensive line, and they were just standing around like at the moment we were out there. I shouldn't say they were standing around. They weren't doing anything that allowed me to get much of a sense of the group. Like it wasn't an enlightening drill that we got to see. If there had been an entire practice session, and there will be on Saturday to observe, that would have been much better when it came to the D line. Looked at the offensive line. So I didn't have any great agenda. Like, all right, I'm at the start of preseason camp. I'm gonna be able to diagnose this team in a day or a week. Just came back from Big Ten Media Days and was interested there to kind of catch the vibe of what this team's personality might be, and I think that's just more of the same here in week one. I thought Matt Rule was really good with his insight that he provided and kind of the confidence that he has in this team, both in Las Vegas and on Monday in Lincoln.
Mitch, when you were at practice, just kind of viewing what was going on the field, I'm curious your thoughts on some of the assistant coaches and how they maybe had some, I don't want to say like different types of coaching or styles of coaching from what you had seen before, but especially with where Dana Holgorsen was maybe on the practice field comparative to where his offensive assistants were. What was that dynamic like? Did you see him more hands-on, or was it really the assistants that kind of took over?
I wish I could say I had more to give you on this. Like I didn't even see Dana out there, and there was a period of time where I was looking for him because I was curious, Austin, in the same answer that you were looking for from me. Like, what's he doing? Where's he at? And I was looking around at I think he was back behind the quarterbacks, but like I was standing in the middle. So on one side of me was the turf, and on the other side was the grass. And, it's a lot of space, and you got 115 players, 120 players out there. I saw Donovan Raiola working. I saw Ron Brown and EJ Barthel. I saw Rob Dvorak. I saw John Butler, but I didn't even see Dana. So I wish, like I said, that again, going into Saturday, like that's something where you have more time to watch. And we had 15, 20 minutes. And hopefully I can go around and kind of get eyeballs on really all the things that you would want in the first week of camp.
Mitch, we've been talking a lot about kind of positional groups and units and strengths and weaknesses of the team kind of throughout the last week or so here. And I'm curious, we were talking to Shafe on Tuesday, and he was going through the places that he thought were better off than they were last year in terms of the different units. And I kind of flipped it on him, and I'll do the same to you here. Is there a unit that you think has taken a step back from last year?
Well, because of the experience factor, I mean, I look first at the defensive line. They had Ty Robinson and Nash Hutmaker a year ago, and it was very clear who was leading the group and how they lined up and I mean how they lined up to run drills and like who set the tone. And they're still trying to figure that out. I think they're still feeling through that at the moment. You heard Cam Lenhart talking about Riley Van Poppel and Elijah Judy, and like Cam is a leader in that group, but there's still a feeling out process. I'd start with that group, maybe go to the running backs too. Now, how it panned out for Nebraska last season at the running back spot because of some injuries and they didn't. I don't know if they got as much out of that group as they thought they were going to heading into the season. It kind of became Emmett Johnson's show late in the year. I think there's less room to miss at the running back spot this year than there was in entering 2024. They had some safety valves that they had to tap into last year, and right now, maybe you have that, but you just don't know because there's not really any experience at all behind Emmett.
Mitch, when you look at the team's depth across really the entire roster and maybe even specific position groups like Ravi was just asking, just going through kind of the offseason, where the additions have been, how we feel about certain players' development, does it feel like there's not as large of a gap between the starters and backups or projected starters and where maybe their depth pieces would be as we've maybe seen in recent years? It at least feels to me like that gap has shortened up at least a little bit.
I feel that way about the O-line, about the secondary, about the wide receivers, arguably. Trying to think of how I viewed that group a year ago. Certainly by the end of the season, in comparison to right now, I feel that way about the wide receivers and probably the linebackers too. You know, I think like a jack linebacker, for instance, to pick out a specific position, they haven't had depth at that spot. You know, whether they called it the jack or it was just an outside backer in previous seasons. Their depth there is great. I think they can. You know, they can play multiple players at the same time if they want to. And so, yeah, I mean, at more position groups than not at tight end, I think the depth is strong going into the year. The more positions than not, they are deeper across the board than at this time last year.
Mitch, if I gave you one spot where I could say, hey, I can guarantee you a B+ grade for the season, whatever that equates to in your head, where would you put that B+ on? Like what group, or even an individual player or position? I'll leave that up to you. Where would you say like, hey, that's where I want that B+, just so I know that's what I've got?
I really like the combo that Nebraska has at that jack spot with Willis McGahee and Dasan McCullough, and I think there's some other young players who will get fine time on the field this year and start to earn some quality reps as they get into September and October. That's a really strong position. So I'll go there. And you know, Phil Simpson coaching it now. They have an experienced coach there and who can help advance that progress. Like the addition of McCullough coming over from Oklahoma in the offseason and the growth of McGahee, like those two things together, I think bode very well for what they're going to get out of that spot. I think it can be a primary pass rushing position and then also a spot that they rely on to just be able to do their job on the D line, like not miss assignments and just be very solid against the run and the pass.
Mitch, I'll stick to the defensive side. I might come back and ask you the offensive side, but on the new assistants that are a part of that defensive staff, which do you think is under more pressure to have their unit perform better? Is it the defensive backs or defensive line?
Probably the D line. Well, I mean, they go hand in hand. You need to have a good D line in order to have a secondary that performs. So for me to pick one and say like, oh, the D line's under more pressure, and then I think, okay, well, what if the secondary, falls flat and they don't get good play? And I mean, then you're going to be giving up big passes. That's not good. So they like a defense. This is part of it. This is just football. Like you have to be good everywhere. You're only as good as your weakest link. And if you're not getting it done up front, like it's pretty tough to play in the secondary. Like having said all of that, I think there's more pressure on Terry Braden as a defensive line coach because I think there's less room for error. Like in the secondary, there's so many pieces, and if you have a couple of injuries or like something doesn't pan out, the thought right now I think is that you're going to be okay. And I don't know if you can say that about the defensive line. So just from the standpoint of like how much margin for error there is, I'd probably go with more pressure on the D line and Terry Braden.
Mitch, you brought up the receivers a minute ago and kind of what the gap was between them and some of the other players at that position. I guess I was a little surprised to hear you include them because at least in my perception, I feel like especially Key and Hunter have been kind of elevated, maybe just because they're new, but have been sort of elevated above everyone else. I guess what's led you to believe that maybe everyone after those two is closer than maybe the perception?
Because I think the youth is really dynamic in that room. I mean, we've seen it from Ja'Cory Barney. We know what Nebraska has in him. But I think that Cortez Mills and now Jeremiah Jones coming in, and you have Quinn Clark as a redshirt freshman. Like I think these are players that are all going to step up and make contributions this year. I we've been let down by the receivers in the past at Nebraska, where you can kind of get suckered into thinking that it's going to be a good position group because of the way that the athletes look. And I think you can go to any power conference school in the country, and if you look at the receivers, you're going to be wowed. And you have to take that into account when you consider like what kind of production to expect from Nebraska, because it's just there are athletic and fast and long players who play that position all over the place. Like, it's become a featured spot at the high school level, and you seem to be able to find players who look the part every year in the portal, and then that doesn't always match up with the production. But I do think that the group that Nebraska has this year with the older players who came from the portal, and Isaiah Hunter's not older, like he's a young player for sure. But, he did it. He proved it at Cal last year. But with Key, and I mean, Nebraska knows what it has in Janiron Bonner. Like, people forget about him. I just think there's a lot of players there who are in a good spot to connect well with Dylan Raiola and produce this year. I'm not going to say that it's the first time I've felt that way. And like I said, I've been proven wrong before. I really thought Nebraska would get more out of Banks and Nair than it did a year ago. But I think some of that was just the like inconsistency of the offense in general. And some of it was that their own doing. But I don't get that feeling from the position group this year. Some of it also, I think the confidence that I have in the wide receivers is because of Da'Keel Shorts. I'm just really impressed with what he brings to the table. I think he's a great fit with Dana Holgorsen. And, we'll get to hear from both of those guys on Thursday. So looking forward to that.
Mitch, I asked Schaefer this yesterday. Curious your thoughts when it comes to how this receiving group can perform. You mentioned last year is a little bit more disappointing with the transfers and their overall production. Would it be more beneficial for Dylan Raiola's progression, the offense's progression, that you have a number one go-to receiver who's head and shoulders above statistically and in the game situation above the rest of the group? Or would it be more proficient to be able to see a balanced receiver group where everyone's got about the same amount of yards, touchdowns, catches, all that?
Oh, I think any quarterback. Well, I mean, there's I can see both sides to it, but I'm going to say balance. I think that defenses in the Big Ten, unless you have a Jeremiah Smith, defenses in the Big Ten are going to find a way to shut down your number one option, especially if there's not a lot to offer beyond that player. Spreading it out and for Dylan to be able to trust in 5 or 6 weapons at that position group, like, to me, that's an easy answer. I get the value of like having a go-to guy, and you can still have a go-to guy. Like, that's not to say that just because you spread things out that your number one receiver is any less talented. I think it speaks more to if that's the way the situation unfolds, and like Nebraska has, 5 players who are all within like 20 catches of each other or something like that. You don't have anybody with more than 7 or 8 touchdowns, but you got 5 guys who have 5 or more. Like, that's to me as a quarterback, I'd love that. And it doesn't take anything away from the top guy. Like, if it's a 3rd and 8 and you've got to get something like then, the quarterback, I like a position where the quarterback still knows like who is his most reliable option. But if you have plenty of them and it diminishes the output, the numbers of the top guy a little bit, then that's fine.
Mitch, earlier DB said that he felt like the strength of this team was going to be the offensive line. When I say that to you, like, how does that strike you?
I agree. It's the group I think that has worked the hardest, that is the closest, like they have the best relationships with each other. They have the position coach who's been doing this for the longest amount of time at Nebraska. I think across the board, like player by player, they have the most consistency and experience. They're also the group that has lived through the most success at the major college level. When the pieces that Nebraska added in Elijah Pritchett and Rocco Spindler, you don't have a lot of that on your roster. Players who have been in the college football playoff or competed for conference championships. So I think the offensive line has just about everything that you're looking for. Like they've got the size, they've got the experience. I think they have the strength. I think they have like the attitude, the mental state right now to enter the season. That there's depth there. Like you go to the right tackle spot where it's a little bit unsettled, and you have 3 legitimate options. So if there's an injury and they've got to have the next man up, like I think there's places to go, and you have players who have experience at multiple spots. So yeah, to me, it looks like the best position group on the team.
So, Mitch, I'm going to ask this follow-up because it seems like, and maybe I'm talking to the wrong people, it seems like there's, I don't know if it's a pessimism or a fear or a trepidation about the upcoming season and what the results are going to look like from a lot of people in at least the spheres that I'm listening to. But I would ask you this. If I told all of the Nebraska fan base, hey, going into year 3 of Matt Rule, I can tell you confidently that the offensive line is the best unit of the team. How much differently do you think people would feel if I took that 30,000-foot view than when we zoom in here and are looking down the barrel of the 2025 season?
I think people would feel good about that. Like I think it means that your running game has a leg up. It means that you're going to be protecting the quarterback. I think that when the offensive line is good, I think it boosts the confidence of the entire offense. Like it's natural to look to the offensive line for guidance, for leadership, for inspiration. So if you start the season and that's the one thing that that your offensive line can lead the way, then that's a great place. That's a great place to be.
Mitch, from Big Ten Media Days a week ago to what we heard Monday, and maybe what you expect to hear through the rest of the week for fall practices, how was that messaging sounded different or maybe in a different tone than in years past under Rule? Have you picked up on anything that maybe not necessarily just Rule himself, but what we've heard from other players or assistants or, the sort that we have had media access to? Is there anything that you've picked on that that feels a little bit different than what we've heard the past 2 seasons?
I think it's more of the same, more of like everybody speaking the same language. I think people are more comfortable in what is the expected of this program. I don't think there's as many questions that the players have about how the coaches want them to prepare. Things are not happening that are a surprise at this point. Like you don't hear as Nebraska, one of the talking points every year at the start of camp under Matt Rule has been the whole we're going into the dorms and this is going to be a time for the team to grow. This year it's just there. It's just part of it. And they took it a step farther with what that exercise is intended to produce. And the players said, hey, we just want to be in here without the coaches. So I think people are more natural in their in understanding what Matt Rule and his assistant coaches want. Like they're able to get down to business more quickly because there's no longer a feeling out process that you had certainly in year 1. And I think even a fair amount last year.
Mitch, are you surprised that seems to be the case considering there was, a pretty decent amount of turnover in the staff this last year?
No, the head coach, it starts with the head coach, and I think there's enough players and enough, even enough staff members, and I'm not just talking about the assistant coaches, but people embedded in the program in leadership roles. And there's some people who are new in those spots too. You look at Pat Stewart, the general manager, but the ones that interact with the players most often on a daily basis, they have the same core. If you come in as a player at Nebraska and it's the off season ahead of training camp, or you get into the season, the people that you're going to deal with most outside of the coaches are Corey Campbell, Kristen Coggin. There's consistency there, and those are they they matter to the players. Like, we don't talk about them as much, but the players do. And those are a couple of names that come up. Like, if you have a deeper conversation with just about any player on the roster about like the inner workings of Nebraska football and like why they have confidence in the program to build, like those two names are going to come up, and they've been there all the way through. So when you have that kind of consistency from the head coach on down, and there are, quite a few players, college football has turnover, but there are quite a few players who have been there through the whole thing. It doesn't surprise me that like that comfort level and just like that understanding of how things are supposed to look and go at this time of year and all times of year is higher right now than it has been in the past too.
That's our guy, Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. Mitch, we appreciate the time as always, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, Mitch.
That's Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. We'll take a quick break here, but I do want to ask you a couple of the questions that I asked Mitch as well, because we had talked about some of them kind of earlier in the week, and then one I had been meaning to ask you before. But don't forget, before we take a break, make sure you get to thepinnaclebankchampionship.com. Get your tickets for the Pinnacle Bank Championship presented by Woodhouse, whether it's for Corn Ferry Tour Golf, concessions, concerts, you're raising money for a good cause, whether you just want to come hang out with the Hurrdat crew over at Hole 17, it's all there for you. The PinnacleBankChampionship.com is where you get your tickets. We are right around the corner. A week from tomorrow, we will be out there.
Sweating.
Make sure you're out there as well. That's awesome. I'm Ravi. We'll be back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
Give me that cheddar, we getting Rico. Big money and rolls like burritos. Give me that hot sauce, no pico. Give me that.
Yeah, I'm very, very grateful that I believe it's Judge Wilkins that they grandfathered in the players. I mean, I don't know how I could have told some of these guys like, hey, you're not on the team. I mean, as I've told you guys, we had guys who said, hey, no matter what, I'm going to be here, and so they pay the same price. When you think about it, I mean, they're paying to go to school to go out there and do all that stuff. So I'm glad they're out there, and a lot of them are good players, and they're developing into good players. So. And then it allows us to have, a lot of competition, allows us to have 3 groups, sometimes maybe 4 groups. We'll have some injuries as we go. There'll be attrition. And have guys that can step in and give reps, I think is really important. So even in the NFL, they have smaller, they have a 90-man roster, but you can still practice against other teams. You still have preseason games, right? So to get to 105, I've done it before at Baylor, but just having a couple more guys here, I think really helps our practice flow and allows for more competition.
Yeah, that was our decision as players, as leaders, that we just wanted players in the dorms, and it's really just been a player-led team like all summer, and I can feel it. Like Coach Rulla is taking a step back, and he's given us the standard. He's given us everything he's wanted out of us, and now it's up to us to let the young guys know and uphold that standard.
How's Chris Heinrich going into fall camp now from maybe where he was as a tight end at the end of the spring?
He's got a lot more reps, and that's the biggest thing for tight end. Like you can't just switch from quarterback to tight end right away and expect to just use athleticism. Tight end's a way different game. But the whole spring, just being there, putting his hand in the ground, getting on receiver stands, running routes, running one-on-ones. and just keep stacking those, eventually he's going to get it. He's going to understand it, and you can see it already. Just him knowledge-wise, like he already knew the playbook, but he just saw it as just like a route, like a drawing. But now he's the one doing the drawing, so it's a lot different. And him getting reps at it, he's a lot better at it.
Centris Federal Credit Union, we understand that the journey of building your own business typically starts with modest beginnings. With a little help from our team of experts and small business loan offerings, you can take your vision and transform it into a more concrete reality. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's Austin. I'm Ravi. Austin, you might ask yourself, what's the difference between a bank and a credit union?
I do ask myself that almost every day.
You know, and Centris has the answer for you. Credit unions are not-for-profit financial institutions, and they put their members' financial wellness first. They operate under the philosophy of people helping people and give back to their members with competitive rates, great service, and community investments. The credit union difference is real, and you can experience it with Centris. Visit them at centrisfcu.org to get started, federally insured by NCUA.
Shout out Centris.
Shout out. Those are our people.
Mm-hmm.
We like Centris. We also like Nebraska football, what we were talking about with Mitch Sherman.
Isn't it so nice that we're just back into actual college football?
We're
We can actually talk a
so
lot of things.
close.
There are rumors swirling around that actually are relevant, and people are trying to figure them out. It's good stuff.
I can taste it. We're right there.
No, and I just showed you the projection. The week 1 slate, TV slate looked beautiful.
Yeah,
loved it.
So I asked Mitch the question if he could give a B+ performance to a unit of a player, for the entire season. Who or what unit would that be? I will ask you the same question, Austin Jacobsen.
Yeah. So to make sure that I'm completely clear, the B+ means that this player or position group, they can't exceed the B+.
Correct.
But if I don't take that, the player could perform better or worse across. Because your automatic thought, like truthfully, I lean towards the offensive side.
Okay.
Because if you give your quarterback a B+, you have a pretty good season, right? If your quarterback plays a B+ year, you feel really good about where things could land for you. But then there's always the potential, especially with the capability of a Dylan Raiola.
Yeah.
I think in different years, like in 2023, if you would have given Nebraska a B+ quarterback.
Like if you're saying, hey, I'm going to get a B+ out of Jeff Sims.
Yes.
Absolutely, you take it.
Yeah.
100. Even last year with Dylan,
you probably would. I would have taken a B+ last year.
As a true freshman, you're probably like, hey, I'll take the B+, right?
People would have said he was DJ Lagway, who, by the way, has a calf strain in camp.
Oh,
interesting.
Now I'm not rooting for him to get injured.
No.
Like, there's more question marks. He had the shoulder. Now he's got the calf. Like, giving a lot of benefit of the doubt to a guy. I'm just saying. Anyway,
those Florida quarterbacks, those athletic Florida quarterbacks, they sure do love to get injured.
How's Anthony Richardson doing?
I don't know. He's behind Joe Flacco currently. Known for his athleticism.
Daniel Jones,
right.
Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco's in Cleveland. How did I forget?
He was in – he spent a season in –
Yeah, he did. I think it was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
Teach their own. Okay, so back to this. So the B+, I'm still going to lean offense, and I think, truthfully, if you get a B+ performance from your running backs, I think that this is a very successful season for Nebraska football.
Interesting.
I really wanted to break it down and go defense and try to name a specific player. But if you get, so what is a B+ statistical season from, let's just say Emma Johnson. If I even just give you Emma Johnson.
Just one guy.
Yep. So I think in a B+, you're nearing 1,000 yards on the season.
I was going to say like 850, 900.
Yeah. And if you're at 850 rushing yards, that is 300 more than the leading rusher over the past, 6-7 seasons. Because the leading rusher for Nebraska football, if not many people have remembered, hasn't really gotten close to that even 700-yard barrier for a couple of years now.
Mm.
It's been some time. And we even had the 2021 season where the quarterback was the leading rusher. And
Yeah.
even in 2023 when Heinrich Harburg was the leading rusher.
Yeah.
A 700 to 800, 850-yard rusher, everyone dreams of the 1,000 yards. And I think sometimes we assume that is the baseline. That is no longer the baseline.
So-
you do have to give a little bit of credence to it.
With an Emmett Johnson, let's say he goes 700 yards rushing, 400 yards receiving, or 350 receiving.
Yeah.
I think that's a B+.
I think so. I'd agree.
Between the rushing and receiving.
I would say a little either somewhere between 950 to like 1050
Total yards.
total
Yeah.
offensive yards. Yeah.
I think that's fair. So if you get 1,000 total yards out of Emmett Johnson rushing and receiving, and let's call it 8 total touchdowns.
That's pretty good.
Does that feel about a B+?
More than what he had past year, right? You would look to see improvement and
Yeah.
progress. So
if that's a B+, is that the guy you want to put your B+ on?
I would rather put a B+ on the entire running back room. But
Sure,
if it's
sure.
a specific player, yes, Emmett Johnson.
Okay. Because I'm kind of thinking about defensive backs.
That's where I was leaning next.
Because here's the thing. I'm not putting it on quarterback because I think Dylan can outperform that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to put it on him, especially with Dana Holgerson. And I know you've got year 2 Dana quarterback stats. Like I'm not going to put the limitation.
But you agree, in generic college football team, you would probably prefer to go quarterback, right?
It depends on who you are.
That's fair.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I think there's definitely places that would take that. Like if you're Ohio State this year, would you take B+ at quarterback?
You could argue they had B+ quarterback last year.
Yeah,
and won them a national championship.
He had moments where he made plays, and that's probably in the B+ neighborhood.
I think Oregon would take a B+ quarterback.
Out of Dante Moore, for sure,
I think Georgia would take a B+ quarterback. I think national title contenders, a lot of them would take B+. I think Texas and Arch, I think that they know if they got a B+ quarterback out of him with the roster that they have, I think they'd feel pretty good.
Pretty decent chance of winning a national championship.
Yeah.
So I think with teams that you are considered loaded around them, I think you'd probably take B+ quarterback play from a lot of those unknowns, right? But if I'm sitting here and I go, okay, I think Dylan, especially with Dana, can outperform that, I don't want to put the limitation on him. I know a lot of people in the chat have said defensive line as well.
Yeah, and then so another guy I was actually leaning on, but it's hard. It's almost the Dylan argument because of what you think his potential upside would be. But if you got a B+ season and in the first year of Williams and Winari on the line,
that's the guy I was thinking of. Yeah,
because if you got a B+ out of him, the sky's the limit the rest of the season or the rest of his tenure.
For
here,
sure,
right?
Because what's a B+ out of a defensive lineman and defensive end in his case? Like
6 sacks. 5 sacks, somewhere in there.
I was going to say a little better than that.
See, that's where it's tough, though, because it depends on your scheme, how you're using them, that sort of stuff. But let's just say true defensive end on the edge, he's just going to rush the passer. He gets 7 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, forces a couple of quarterback hits and hurries.
And it's solid in the run game.
Yeah, right. I think
I would take that from Winari.
There's not a lot of defensive linemen on the roster right now that I wouldn't say 7 sacks for them. I would be standing up and clapping and cheering my face off.
I believe that would have led the team last year.
Yeah,
I think leading in sacks was 5.
If RVP had 7 sacks, if any of those guys had 7 sacks, you would feel very good.
Yeah, RVP is a guy I think can outperform the B+.
Yeah.
A lot of people have said kicking or special teams.
Okay.
I mean, if you take a B+ special teams, that's automatically 2 wins from last year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely fair.
I like Rico. Whoever plays left tackle, that could be interesting. If you were to go offensive lineman, would you go left?
I just wouldn't go offensive lineman because I think that group's at least a B+ anyway, as
That's
a
fair.
total.
Yeah.
You've got enough options at both tackle spots. You've got guys that have started. I mean, Tyler Knox played 17 games at Nebraska over the last 2 years. Teddy Prohaska has shown that when he was healthy, was a Big Ten level starter. Gunnar Gatula showed last year he's a Big Ten level starter.
Mm-hmm.
Turner Corcoran has like 40 career starts under his belt. However you feel about Turner Corcoran, like there's obviously you got Elijah Pritchett at the other side where I assume he's going to start at one of the tackles. He started at Alabama last year. Like I look at the offensive line, I go, I don't need to take a given there. I'll take the upside.
Yeah. QB Ace, he says it's an easy choice D-line because of B+, that makes the whole defense that much better. And that's a great argument because that's what we've been talking about with Mitch, BC, Shafe yesterday, through the past 3 months, that if the defensive line performs a certain way, the rest of the defense is much better because everyone is assuming that the linebackers are going to be solid, but no one in chat, neither of us have said anything about, Marquise Watson-Trent or any of those guys trying to be B+. But we haven't. I know you said defensive backs. If you wanted to pick like a specific one, that would be different too. But no one is outwardly saying really a specific person on the defense. But defensive line in general, if that one is so much better at a B+, everything else kind of falls into place.
It does. I don't want to put a limitation on the defensive line because I think they can be better than a B+.
I agree.
I think they can be better than a B+. Headley says B+ for kicking. He said, would you say B+ for kicking gives us a 10-2 season this year?
Would you argue kicking from Ohio State on was a B+?
It was pretty, although it got a little goofy at Iowa.
It did.
So,
everything was goofy at Iowa.
Yeah,
though.
so maybe not. I will say this. I wouldn't say kicking specifically, but if you gave me a B+ for all of special teams, I don't know if it gets you to 10. I do think it gets you to 9.
Yeah.
Like, I think you're at 9 if you have B+ special teams this year. I think you're at 9 wins. I really do. So that's a place that it's, I mean, if I want to take the most wins for my B+, special teams is probably the smart move. If I take special teams out of it, because that almost seems, just because of how bad Nebraska's been, that almost seems too easy. So let's take special teams out of it because it's
I
like
think special teams is a little too broad too, because
it is, because there's a lot of facets,
and it's also a third of
right.
the
It's
game.
a third of the game, so you've got a little bit. It's a little bit too broad. We're not saying the entire offense can be a B+. Or so let's.
I'd really like to see the Gunners get down there. B+ Gunners.
Right. So I appreciate that Headley specified it to kicking. I don't know that kicking by itself gets you to 10.
Yeah.
I do look at, if I had to pick somebody in, or even if I had to split the defensive backs up between corners and safeties, that might be interesting because defensive backs is kind of a broad group. You're playing different positions there, and there's a lot of guys.
There's different schemes back end and how you're going to play on one side, and positionally how you'll play game to game too.
It's tough because I want to say B+ out of the corners just for the coverage part of it.
I've got one guy that I can think of.
But then you get B+, Deshaun Singleton.
For improvement, yes. In my opinion, yes. But there's a different guy that I would
Who's that?
Sierra Wright.
See, I think we're going to B+ out of Sierra Wright no matter what.
Okay.
My answer,
but see, that's what I would like to know. I would like to guarantee that if you have a B+ corner in the Big Ten, you feel pretty good going week in and week out.
See, so I was actually going to go Andrew Marshall because I think you've already got a B+ corner in Sierra Wright. You give me 2 B+ corners, then we're cooking.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So if I had to pick one guy, it's probably Andrew Marshall.
Because how many teams will you play generally in the Big Ten? All 18 teams down, not just Nebraska's schedule, all 18 teams, that if you had 2 B+ cornerbacks, we're playing college football 26, and you got 2 88 overall cornerbacks.
You feel good.
You feel really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not a lot of teams that are going to match up and give you that much struggle. There will be some, but and now you focus it to Nebraska side, not on that schedule.
And also, if you look at it, especially if your second corner is a B+, you can roll help because most people aren't going to have 2 wide receivers that terrify you.
Yeah.
Right. Ohio State's not on the schedule this year, right? Most places aren't going to have 2 wide receivers that you're like, man, I got to help on both of these guys. If you got 2 B+ corners, there's a pretty good chance one of those can be pretty much on an island and you feel okay.
Yeah.
Right. You can roll help to the other guy that has the tougher matchup.
You could argue that week 2 Colorado last year, Nebraska had a B+ cornerback at minimum on that field at all times.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they were locking down the 3 best receiving targets in the Big 12 at one point.
Hunter and Horn were both really good. And, I mean, Hunter's, probably one of the best receivers, probably top 3 receivers in the country last year.
And he still got his 100 yards, but it was a completely different way to get 100 yards than what he did the rest of the season.
Like, he wasn't a game breaker for Colorado against Nebraska. So, a healthy Tommy Hill was I think probably a B+. Obviously, that pick 6 really changed the momentum of the game. But, I don't know. I think I go defensive backs. I really do, and I think I go corners.
Yeah, I think it's more of a how you feel philosophy question than maybe how you feel about this current team. Although
it's a mix, right? It's a mix of philosophy and how you feel about the team, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously, philosophically, D-line is the most important thing to me on a defense, and I think to most people. But I'm really high on this D-line, so I don't feel like I need the B+.
I'm a little interested. Neither of us have said anything about any receivers. Considering where last year the receivers, we had an expectation of them.
Sure.
And maybe it is the thought that, well, last year we had this thought, but this year's group is different. But if you said an Isaiah Hunter is a B+ receiver, I think that's pretty solid because you're going into camp assuming Isaiah Hunter's probably a wide receiver 2 or 3, right?
A 2. I mean, I think. So here's the thing. I think by the end of the year, we might look at Isaiah Hunter as wide receiver 1.
Okay.
I think he might end up being the best wide receiver on the team. Like I'm very high on Isaiah Hunter. I think he can be super versatile.
So if you gave Dane Key, the senior statesman there in the room, and you said he's a B+, so he's at 750 receiving yards, he gets 5 or 6 receiving touchdowns, and he has 60 receptions on the season.
So basically, you're saying he almost, not quite, but almost exactly replicates his year from last year. Last year, he was at
I'd say that was a B+,
40,
right?
Probably a B. He only had 2 touchdowns, but that's, part of that's a Kentucky.
So a couple more touchdowns.
Part of that's a Kentucky problem.
Right. Thanks, Mark.
But let's say he goes 50 catches, 750 yards, 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's probably about a B+. I don't know if I take that. I think I like the offense too much with Holgorsen. And here's the thing. I think to kill Shorts is an important factor here because I would make the argument, and this is nothing against Garrett McGuire. I'm sure he's going to be a good coach one day. And I actually think he probably ends up being a better offensive coordinator than he does a position coach. Like, I think that's probably how his mind works based on people I've talked to and heard from. But I think if you have Da'Keil Shorts as your wide receivers coach and Dana Holgorsen as your offensive coordinator for all of last year, we're having a very different discussion about those very same guys, Nair and Banks.
Yeah.
And even like a Jalen Lloyd. And I don't know that we're having a different conversation about Malachi Coleman. I think that just wasn't working out. But maybe we're having a different conversation about Janarin Bonner, and we're probably having an even more enthusiastic conversation about Ja'Cory Barney. Like, I think if you just put these coaches, even with the guys that kind of underwhelmed us last year, we're having a very different discussion. So I'm going to take my chances with the receivers this year.
Okay.
So
what if I ask you this, if I change it just a little bit?
Yeah.
Which assistant coach would you like to see? Which assistant coach do you think actually has the potential to turn their entire unit into a B+ unit? Because again, Nebraska, I know that you're high on Nebraska. You have a 10-2 roster, so you're thinking like B+, A- that range, right? For essentially the entire roster. There's going to be some that are higher, some that are lower, that sort of thing. But 10-2 looks that way. But putting the nostalgia goggles off and trying to look at this roster as it is.
For context, I would say that 9-3 would be a B+ season.
Okay, I'm good with that.
10-2, I think we get to like A-.
Yes, yeah. Look at us just giving out grades.
Absolutely,
GPAs.
that's what we do.
Yeah. Was it Miller North GPA? What'd you get?
3.6.
Beat me.
I didn't.
Isn't that Western Nebraska knowledge though?
Yeah, be careful. Yeah, be careful out there.
That WN, as the kids say.
The standardized test is really where I shined. That was
look at you.
I was a big standardized test guy.
SAT and ACT?
Yeah, I took them both.
Whoa.
Yeah.
They didn't offer the SAT out in Sydney. Couldn't get that far.
You had to go to Denver or something.
We did. You had to go to Denver. You had to come to. I think it was Lincoln was the closest one you could take it to. So.
Oof.
Yeah.
Lincoln's not closer than Denver, is it? From Sydney?
What do you mean?
Lincoln?
Oh, no, Lincoln's farther. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say
Very
Lincoln's
far.
not closer than Denver.
Yeah, it's like 2.5, 3 hours. It's 3 hours of downtown Denver.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That Lincoln's way farther than.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But some people want to stay in state. They don't want to give those tax dollars over to Colorado.
Those
you know,
dirty Coloradans.
Well, some people had other reasons to go to Colorado, but not me.
The mountains, skiing.
That too. Yeah. People love to get high in Colorado.
Big ski. Guys.
Elevation wise.
Big ski guys.
Huge.
What assistant coach do I think has the ability to turn into a B+ group?
Right.
I do. So it's tough because I think there's so many people involved in the defensive backs. Obviously, John Butler's background is in defensive back. You got Addison Williams, who's your actual defensive backs coach. And then you got Phil Snow, who also has a background in defensive backs. So if I can take that group, I absolutely think they can turn the defensive backs into a B+ group.
Yeah.
If I have to pick a guy, I don't know if my confidence is in Addison Williams specifically, or if it's in the way he works with Butler. I guess
Now, I'll tell you what, everything you're saying right now, with the potential that we have with defensive line, things we talked through it there, if Addison Williams got the defensive backs to B+, sky is the limit. I mean, further and beyond.
Yeah, if the defensive backs are a B+ and the defensive line is at least that, which I think they can be, we're having a very fun discussion in November about what this football team is.
Yeah.
You could also be having a very fun discussion with you and some friends with an evening with Henry Winkler.
Oh, really?
A Team Jack Foundation fundraiser, August 7th. That's a Thursday. down at Scott Conference Center in Exarban Village. You can get your tickets at teamjackfoundation.org/Henry or call 402-925-2120. Spend an evening with the Fonz, the coach from Waterboy, whichever version of Henry Winkler you like.
The guy from
best.
Little Nicky.
Yeah, famously, the guy from Little Nicky. However you want to spend your evening with Henry Winkler, you're doing it to help out Team Jack Foundation. Get to teamjackfoundation.org/Henry to get your tickets today. That's Austin. I'm Ravi. We'll be back to wrap up the show next here on Hurrdat Sports Live.
Give me that cheddar, we getting Rico. Big money rolls like burritos. Give me that hot sauce, no pico. Give me that.
Yeah, I'm very, very grateful that I believe it's Judge Wilkins that they grandfathered in the players. I mean, I don't know how I could have told some of these guys like, hey, you're not on the team. I mean, just as I've told you guys, we had guys who said, hey, no matter what, I'm going to be here, and so they pay the same price. When you think about it, I mean, they're paying to go to school to go out there and do all that stuff. So I'm glad they're out there, and a lot of them are good players, and they're developing into good players. So. And then it allows us to have, a lot of competition, allows us to have 3 groups, sometimes maybe 4 groups. We'll have some injuries as we go. There'll be attrition. And have guys that can step in and give reps, I think is really important. So even in the NFL, they have smaller, they have a 90-man roster, but you can still practice against other teams. You still have preseason games, right? So to get to 105, I've done it before at Baylor, but just having a couple more guys here, I think really helps our practice flow and allows for more competition.
Yeah, that was our decision as players, as leaders, that we just wanted players in the dorms, and it's really just been a player-led team like all summer, and I can feel it. Like Coach Rulla is taking a step back, and he's given us the standard. He's given us everything he's wanted out of us, and now it's up to us to let the young guys know and uphold that standard.
How different is Heinrich going into fall camp now from maybe where he was as a tight end at the end of the spring?
He's got a lot more reps, and that's the biggest thing for tight end. Like you can't just switch from quarterback to tight end right away and expect to just use athleticism. Tight end's a way different game. But the whole spring, just being there, putting his hand in the ground, getting on receiver stands, running routes, running one-on-ones, and just keep stacking those. Eventually, he's going to get it. He's going to understand it, and you can see it already. Just him knowledge-wise, like he already knew the playbook, but he just saw it as just like a route, like a drawing. But now he's the one doing the drawing, so it's a lot different. And him getting reps at it, he's a lot better at it.
Centrus Federal Credit Union, we understand that the journey of building your own business typically starts with modest beginnings. With a little help from our team of experts and small business loan offerings, you can take your vision and transform it into a more concrete reality. Centrus Federal Credit Union, We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Central Federal Credit Union. That's awesome. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. DB will be back tomorrow. Just had to take one of his kids to an appointment. So
yeah, Lance, people in chat asking if DB went to go poop. He did not. Well, he might have. I don't want to speak for him.
No assumptions here, but no, he had to take one of the kids to an appointment. So he'll be back tomorrow. Austin graciously filling in for the last hour, which we appreciate.
Which also, a QB Ace in chat, has anyone heard about the tsunami for Hawaii in the West Coast? Did you hear about any of this stuff?
I heard about it. I haven't really heard any results from how bad it was.
This is the first time in my life that I've seen something like this, and I had to be like, oh, this actually affects me, because my brother and sister-in-law now live in Alaska. And apparently the tsunami could affect that southern shore of Alaska.
Gotcha.
And they live
I didn't realize it was going that far north.
Yeah, right?
That's wild.
They live a couple miles inland, so they should be okay, but it is one of those that I don't know if I should check in and be like, hey, what's going on? Because I don't really know. I don't live there, so I don't want, if they're packing stuff up and actually are having to leave, that they just get a text from me. They're like, hold on, I gotta update Austin really quick.
I'm sure that if they're in a dire situation, then they weren't going to stop to text you back.
That is true.
You could probably check in and feel okay about it.
Just FaceTime it at all times of the day.
Yeah, she's like, hey, what's up,
Where are the
guys?
waves? Where are the waves?
No, I do hope everybody's okay out there. I know it's it sounded like it was going to be pretty nasty in Hawaii and parts of Japan and some other places as well. So hope everybody's doing okay out there. But
whenever you hear tsunami, that's
tsunamis are scary. There's some, I know that.
I'm neutral to tornadoes at this point. Tornadoes are probably the worst, right?
I don't know. Tsunamis are up there because you don't get a ton of warning.
That's true.
And they're less selective than tornadoes. Tornadoes, you could be.
Yeah, you're not really ever in a tsunami zone, right? It just kind of happens.
I mean, you're in
you have
areas,
to be on a coast.
Yeah, you're in areas that are more likely to be affected by tsunamis, but you're never if a tsunami hits a neighborhood, your house is gone.
Yes.
Right? It's not like tornadoes where, we saw it in Elkhorn last year, right? Where one house is gone, the next is almost untouched, the next house is gone. So tornadoes are not as ubiquitous in their destruction.
Great word.
Where I feel like tsunamis are.
Mm-hmm.
So tsunamis are a little scary that way. You don't, think about it if you're in Hawaii, right? They said to evacuate, where are you going to go in that amount of time that you were given?
Good question, because everyone's trying to go the same way.
Well, we're trying to go the same way.
And you're on an island.
That's
so
what I mean.
You're stuck.
Are flights getting out? What's happening there,
Yeah. And you got to leave everything, too.
Right.
There's nothing you can do about that.
That's really scary in that situation where.
How quick is that turnaround in a tsunami? You always see the movies of people running.
From the earthquake to the actual wave hitting. I don't know. You Google that for me because I have no idea. But I do think with tornadoes, especially now with you get a little bit more early detection, you get a little bit more early warning, hey, it's been great this summer where you're hey, we might have some storms that are potential tornado producing storms. Keep an eye out this afternoon or this evening or whatever. That gives you a little bit of help so you cannot be caught out on the roads or anything like that if you can help it.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
So tsunamis can travel 500 miles an hour.
Holy cow.
That's insane. So if one is generated off the coast of Japan, it can reach the U.S. West Coast in approximately 6 to 10 hours.
Yeah, so
that's crossing an ocean. That's crazy.
Yeah, and
that's
off the coast of Japan, right? So that's across the entire Pacific.
Yeah, so a local tsunami generated near a coast could only provide around 15 to 20-minute warning.
Yeah,
so you're not getting out. You're basically going for high ground.
Even in 6 to 10 hours, you're probably not getting a flight out in that time.
Yeah.
Some people might, but you're not evacuating an island.
People have been to downtown Lincoln after a game ends late, right?
You're not.
That's a 2-hour wait time to get on that interstate.
Yeah, you're not getting out.
Yeah,
and also there's nowhere really to go in Hawaii. It's a very small island. There's a series of very small islands. You're not going anywhere.
Notably, nowhere to go. Yeah.
Yeah, unless you get out on a flight, which in 6 to 10 hours, I don't imagine that many flights are getting out.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, that's
be the first time people would be happy to go to Cleveland.
Right? They'd be like, just give me anywhere, anywhere in the Continental, right? So that's scary. I think tsunamis would scare me more. Also, very not a big water guy in terms of natural disaster.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to take a cruise for
Yeah,
any
I've
reason.
never been a cruise guy. Those people are
I don't.
goofy.
I was like, yeah, I don't. I'm not about that. I don't want to be in the middle of the ocean.
My parents and then
I've seen too much North Sea TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't need to be on.
My parents and aunts and uncles are all doing a cruise in the middle of October, which is insane. I mean, why would you leave during football season for 2 weeks?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
That's wild.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
what
in
are we
itself.
doing?
I mean, I get that they don't have like high school football games to really go to anymore, but
Still.
that's insane.
Still.
But yeah, still. And they asked Dr. Girlfriend and I, they were like,
Yeah.
hey, would you guys be interested? No.
Absolutely not.
And also, I think it was one of those questions they asked me because they knew I couldn't say yes, but they just felt like,
we should ask.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Come on now. Just don't ask. Because
like-
now I'm like, I wouldn't want to go anyway.
It's like when you invite people to your destination wedding. You really don't expect them to come. Just please send a gift.
Yeah. So I actually did that a couple of summers. It was last summer. I went to Puerto Vallarta for a wedding, and I walked in, and the entire wedding party was like, nobody thought you were going to show up. Because it was just me. I didn't come with, my significant other or anything. I was like, I can only afford this flight here and the flight back. That's it. I'm not getting any drinks. I hope it's all provided. And they, like, the entire time, people were like, we can't believe you're here. Like, there were family members that didn't make it for the bridal party, and I was there just in my Hawaiian goofy shirt.
You're like, what are you doing?
I know.
here?
Yeah, I got a 6 a.m. flight back to Omaha.
See you guys. That's funny. Yeah, no, it's I do. So Headley says large asteroid, probably the scariest.
Is that a natural disaster, though? Or is that just Armageddon?
I
mean,
guess.
what are we talking about here?
Honestly, like if a large asteroid is coming, yeah,
It kind of is what it is at that point,
I almost
right?
just want it to hit me directly, so I'm one of the first to
You gotta
die.
be vaporized. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with the ashen skies and
Right.
starving to death.
Yeah, I don't want to go Mad Max.
Just get me quick.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've told people this before, but if we ever have like an apocalyptic event, if my standard of life starts to drop by about like 30-40%, like I'm just gonna call it.
So no less boat rides, and you're like, dang, it was a good
Listen,
run.
Not like the boat. I mean, like
No
like,
sweets at the Storm Chaser games.
if it's one of the if it's one of those things where it's like, hey, yeah, you can't like, you can't find food on a regular basis. Like, I'm not gonna go all hunter gatherer. You know what I mean? That's not in my repertoire. That's not happening. If it's one of those things where it's like, hey,
You don't even want to go hiking. Why would you?
100%.
That is fair.
100%.
Yeah, the amount of survival movies and shows that have them living in the wilderness in like log cabins.
And I'm just like, absolutely not.
I'm also a big shower guy. I hate feeling like sticky and dirty.
Yes.
That I'm sure I could get over it because I have become accustomed to a life of luxury.
Yeah.
In my own sense, but yeah,
Showering whenever I please.
Run that steam.
No, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, if I can't clean myself regularly, maybe I'm just like, I've had a good run.
Yeah,
we're gonna call this.
Yeah,
one.
I'm with you there. I watched some of those shows. Like I went and saw 28 Years Later.
Oh,
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Great movie, by the way. But the way that those people on the island have been living, it's not for me, man.
Yeah, I'm not a survivor.
Yeah.
That's not. No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't want to be handed a crossbow for survival. I want to be handed a crossbow for fun,
for recreation.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like I'm the type of person like that. I want like a target. I don't want the target coming at me. You know?
Yeah.
Like
it's like if I don't hit this shot, it's not that I don't eat today. Like, that's not. I'm not.
You
about
want
that
Iguodala?
life.
Yeah, but you'd be okay with your wife, wouldn't you? I mean, survival wise.
So
she'd
she'd be better because she'd
be whipping and flipping that yam. She'd be all over the place.
Oh yeah, well, and she can shoot. She's
wow.
She's a state champion trap shooter.
What?
Yeah, so like she can handle a
She's got
shotgun.
everything.
No, yeah, and she's a chef, so she can like dress or I don't know what it's called. She can deal with like carcasses and stuff, like carve them up and make them edible.
Yeah.
Um,
That'd be huge though, because I would eat so much just raw meat. It'd be nuts. Like I would be towering through a Costco, not worried about cooking. I'd just eat.
You're going all like carnivore man on me.
I'd have to.
Austin, thank you for joining the last hour of the show today.
The White Balance White Hour.
The Whiteout Hour. It's the Off-White Hour with
Yeah.
Austin and Ravi. Somebody in the chat said, breaking news, asteroids are naturally occurring. So
Fair. That's more like apocalyptic. I think we can all agree,
yes,
right?
I
Like,
agree.
Like if a big tornado came by, we'd be like, that's not good. But if an asteroid was appearing in our back window, we'd be like, it kind of is what it is.
That's the thing. It's like, well, our fates have been sealed. Here we go. That's Austin. I'm Ravi. It's Hurrdat Sports Live. Damon and I will be back tomorrow. Have a good day.
See you. Have a good day. Love you.